We're live. Pete says he can see us.
Go ahead and then we'll take it.
Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents
Cole's going to get the call up the middle, and he sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink. Central Iowa Football, live on the night. Central Iowa Sports Network presents
Cole's going to get the call up the middle, and he sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink. Central Iowa Football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Shields. Are you ready for some football?
Good evening and welcome to Waukee High School, Waukee Stadium tonight, where it's the Waukee Warriors hosting the Southeast Polk Rams. Two teams that started out the season with a loss and looking to get their first win here tonight. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Atlantic Bottling, Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields, and CenturyLink. Dar Danielson along with Paul Yeager, and let's pause here for our national anthem. Well, I think we're going to hear it here in just a second.
We're supposed to. We got to have audio. For the anthem.
And our national anthem, Dar Danielson along with Paul Yeager. And Paul, a couple of teams here tonight, they come in 0-1, but got there in a little bit similar ways, but different with the score. Both had mistakes that cost them those first games. But for Southeast Polk, it was a 10-9 game. And for Waukee, they lost by a bigger margin. It was, 47-13 to Valley. So two teams here coming in tonight looking to get that first win on the board and hopefully made that improvement here between that first game and the second game.
Southeast Polk lost in the final 30 seconds on Friday night. A heartbreaker, a missed extra point makes it a tie game. They're playing for overtime. Waukee got within 2 touchdowns to start the fourth quarter, and then everything unraveled. Valley 3 quick touchdowns in less than about 4 minutes, and that ball game was out of reach. Waukee got tired. Southeast Polk, same situation. You've got two teams tonight. They've had an entire week of heat to practice in to get used to this weather. It is a warm evening. There is a breeze out of the west. We're going to find out who did the best at conditioning.
And who did the best at making those adjustments, cleaning up things, and getting ready here for tonight's game. And the sun, thankfully, finally going down there, so it's out of our eyes as we're on the east side of the field here, looking across, and a beautiful sunset going down. And And tonight's weather report brought to you by ABC 5. 89 degrees here and a slight breeze out there tonight. And doesn't seem too muggy, just a little warm out here tonight.
It is. And, this is the kind of weather that you expect for late August, early September, and that's what we have. Last week you didn't expect it. It was 75 degrees, but the humidity was was almost 100% because it did rain during the game last week. But we're going to find out a lot about these two teams. There's that old coaching cliche, you make the most improvement between weeks 1 and week 2. I asked Coach Brad Zelenovich for Southeast Polk, do you believe that? And he says, well, it's what we told our players. We know that it's the cliche thing to do. We'll find out. They had a lot of improvement. And Coach Carlson told me before the game just a few minutes ago, he said, hey, yes, you make mistakes, but it's how you improve and alter that behavior if you really, truly believe that you've learned something.
And you wonder, too, you lost by 1 on a missed extra point. Is it tougher or easier to come back and say there was one play we could have done better, or you let it get out of hand late like Waukee did and you lose by a few touchdowns? Which team has more motivation, or is it just both of them say, hey, only the first game, there's a lot ahead of us, let's come back out here and get at it?
Well, both of these teams have a lot to gain. You have a team that was at the Unidome last year in the semifinals. You got another team with their old offensive coordinator back after a 2-year hiatus from the school. He was at Waukee as the head coach. Brad Zelenovich, 2 years in, 2 years of head coaching experience, comes back to Southeast Polk, a program he knows well. But he said, a lot of these players are different. So he doesn't know them all like it would be if he'd been here for 2 years. He can kind of guess how they were. It's just a matter of how they're going to play. You've got the senior quarterback, Thomas McLaughlin. He's one of those guys that we'll find out, but let's find out what it is like down on the field.
Yeah, let's go. Sideline report brought to you by Shields, and let's go down there.
It's an absolute beautiful night down here, guys. I mean, after last week's damp and hot and humid conditions, it's perfect down here on the field at Waukee Stadium. And I'm sure, as you guys have been talking about, this is a game about redemption. Both teams suffering stinging losses last week. It'll be great to see how both of these coaches respond in their teams.
All right, Jim Kirby on the sideline tonight, brought to you by Shields. And let's talk now about our Schottenkirk Chevrolet keys to the ball game tonight, Paul. And what do you see out of these two teams need to do here?
If you're Waukee, you've got to find a rhythm on offense. When you are a run-and-shoot type spread offense, one of the hardest things to do is to get that first down, first down, and get the momentum and get the swing of the offense back underneath you. That was something that Ben Firkin, great game last week. It's a matter of who he can get. You could tell he was kind of talking to those receivers. He's got new people. He replaced a couple of All-Staters. It's a matter of how he gets into the flow of the game. So if you're Waukee, you got to get some first downs. If you're Southeast Polk, you've just got to go back out and do what you're doing. You were in that ball game last week. You're a couple of plays away from winning. You've got to just continue to do what you do, and that is readjust to this new coaching scheme. New approach to the offense, and find out how you can respond and how you can get better and how you can win a football game.
And Southeast Polk 9 points, Waukee 13 last week. We'll see if that's enough tonight to win or if you need to score more here. I know Waukee, a little trouble offensively handling Valley's defense up the middle. It gave Firkin a little bit of trouble there, so we'll see if they made some adjustments with that too.
Coach Carlson said, we just faced one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state in Valley. They are big up front. Southeast Polk not quite the same. However, Southeast Polk is no slouch. They are always a traditionally big school. Lots of guys who can play the line, always good linebackers, good team speed, good tough physical squats. I don't expect it to be anything different tonight.
And I think that's been kind of the mantra, or the physical tough team out of Southeast Polk. You expect them to come out and pound right at you, punch you in the mouth here. Waukee, we'll see, as you talk about Firkin and his receivers, Adam Rose, Michael Winger, the two big guys he went to last week. And then, of course, Firkin had one touchdown run himself, and he threw for 165 yards, 2 interceptions and a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. Thomas McLaughlin on the other side, he's a senior quarterback. He threw for 144 yards last week, rushed for 21. He knows what it's like to be in the big games. He pitched also for them on their state championship team, so he knows what it's like to be a leader out there. And obviously has a good strong arm, so we'll see what he does with that too.
You know, and a lot of teams will tell you, a lot of coaches will say, I like a guy who has played other sports because it's better to be in that competition to know what it's like to play in a big atmosphere. It doesn't have to be in the current sport that you're playing. But when you're in that situation, there's a lot of, I don't know, intestinal fortitude, I guess you could call it, Tar, that you develop a lot of that tough skin. And that's something when you can say you've played at the biggest stage in another sport and succeeded, it can translate into a thing. And the thing is with Waukee, though, Dar, they're no slouch at everything else. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk with Jim Dewey, the athletic director here. He will talk about the success Waukee's had. Now, a lot of these state championships came from the girls' side, but the boys have also done well here as well.
And I think you look at the curve, Southeast Polk maybe a little faster growing, and then Waukee kind of has grown into this, the 4A schools as they come along, and both of them they're trying to, cement their place on that stage of the big schools here in the state.
Well, Southeast Polk's no stranger to getting to the Unidome. It's been a couple of years since they have been there, but it's a school that's had success as well.
So getting ready here, just about 3 minutes away from kickoff as you see the big W helmet coming out here, leading the football players on the field for Waukee. What's going to be a pretty decent night, pretty good crowd here on both sides for this football game tonight as both teams come in at 0-1, looking to get the first notch in the win column here tonight. And they're out. We talked about the two quarterbacks or the two guys who lead this team. We'll see Ben Firkin, the senior quarterback, leading Waukee, and Thomas McLaughlin leading Southeast Polk here. We'll have Jim Kirby down on the sidelines this evening to give us a little bit of perspective from down there. And he's talking with somebody down there right now, getting some input. We'll see what he has to say as we move on here throughout the game. Also tonight we have Dowling and Urbandale is also on CISN.TV tonight, that ball game, and there was no score early on, but we'll check on that and see what the score is on that ball game for you tonight.
And you can get scores throughout the night on the website of CISN.TV and take a look at scores as our boy Ramel Slaughter is back with us tonight. He's helping us out. You can also tweet at us at CISN.TV. Check us out on Facebook and tell us where you're watching tonight, or on Twitter, and would love to hear from you. We know we have people from around the world that watch us, so love to have you no matter where you are. Glad that you've decided to have us be a part of your Friday night.
It looks like Waukee has won the toss and deferred, and Southeast Polk will receive here to start the ball game.
Waukee in their home purple with gold pants. Waukee looks familiar, but it's a little different look for Southeast Polk. Still the yellow and black, but it's a lot more, if you're not careful, it's almost an Iowa Hawkeye or Pittsburgh Steeler type approach. There's now a gold stripe down the helmet for Southeast Polk. Still the all-white jerseys with the black and gold, all gold pants now, so just a little bit different with the SE on the helmet.
Side. Yeah. They had the Ram on there before,
for years.
Right? Yeah, for years. As just about ready to go, and should we go down the sideline one more time here before we get started?
Hey, I was down here on the field talking with the KXNO reporter, and we were wondering which loss last week hurt the most. And, I think the consensus is getting beat in the last few seconds of the game like Southeast Polk did last week has got to hurt. And you got to hope that Thomas McLaughlin, their senior quarterback, responds. And I'm sure the coach has done everything they could to get these guys ready for this game, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Jim Kirby, thank you very much with the Shield sideline report. And Kaylin Jennings is one of the backs back deep. And Skylar Crew will be kicking off for Waukee. Teed it up and about ready to get underway. Here comes the kick. Comes to the man about the 3. Up to the 15, looks for some room, almost loses the football, tries to get outside, now does fumble the football. I think he got back on it though, and he'll go down. Kalen Jennings fumbled and picked it up, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line here for Southeast Polk to start the ball game.
Jennings is a nice-looking player. Looked like he was trying to bust it out there, but just not much there. He's just got to protect the football.
So here comes Southeast Polk. McLaughlin. One back. Drops, looks to throw outside quickly out there, and it's incomplete. Looking for the quick
Jackson
out there.
Cole.
Yep, to Jackson Cole. He caught a touchdown pass, their touchdown pass last week. And that'll bring up 2nd down. And 10 at the 18. Two receivers to the left, two to the right. Single back in the backfield for McLaughlin. Throws it out quickly to the man in the slot, looking for some room over there, and he's going to be pulled down.
That's Jennings again.
Kalen Jennings picks up a couple. So, well, they're going to give him one. So, pick up one to be 3rd down and 9 at the 19 for Southeast Polk. They've got Cole Hauser in the backfield with McLaughlin. Two backs, two receivers left, one right. Dropping straight back, throws it out to the swing back outside. He cuts it up and gets across the 30 up to about the 33 for a 1st down out to Hauser. So pass out to Hauser, and he picks up the 1st down. Pick up of 14, 1st and 10 now, up to the 33-yard line on the 3rd play of the drive.
Very similar plays to the first two, just a lot different result. And it's the 3rd different receiver, Dar.
Two receivers now to the right, one to the left, two backs around McLaughlin. Now he throws it out there quickly and to Jackson Cole. He makes a quick pickup up to just shy of the 40. And that brings up 2nd and 4, pickup of 6. 2nd and 4 at 39. So Cole Hauser, two backs in the backfield. Cole Hauser with McLaughlin, the quarterback. In motion, Jennings, whip it out to the right side to him. He cuts it up the field, breaks a tackle, gets up to about the 45. That'll be good enough for a 1st down.
Who caught that?
I believe that was Hauser.
Hauser. So, again, same 3 receivers. All of them have 2 catches, or at least 2.
Was that? No, that was Jennings. I'm sorry.
That was Jennings
Yeah,
again.
it was Jennings.
Same 3 guys have all touched it.
And that was a pickup of 6 for a 1st down. Two receivers to the left, now one to the right. Rolling to his left, lobs it out there and slipping, but finally moving ahead. Joel Ginther, number 26, on the pass.
We have penalty now. Came on that near sideline. I'm going to guess there was a sideline warning. Everybody had to bump back. I don't know. Jim, Kirby, what do you see?
We got a bench infraction. That was a penalty called on the bench. A lot of conversation going on down here, but it's all about the officials here, and so that's a 15-yarder on the bench over here on the Southeast Polk side.
So only a warning is what the PA says.
So 2nd and 4 at the 49 for Southeast Polk on their initial drive. And no, he keeps it. McLaughlin keeps it, and he gets right back to the original line of scrimmage. Put it in the belly of Hauser, pulled it back out, and he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage and bring up 3rd down and 3 at the 48.
They are going to give him one. I'm surprised at that. Didn't look like much.
Oh.
So now Waukee has to step up here, Dar. This is a big situation on third down. You've already given up 1 third and long. This is third and short. Playbook's pretty wide open for Southeast Polk here.
Got a slot back ahead of him, single back behind him, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for McLaughlin. Gives it to the deep back, and he plows into the line, and there's nothing there. Ball ripped out, but they're going to say forward momentum had stopped. They're saying he was down.
Dominic Bakam Lemvan was there, and he stood that play up the entire time.
Hauser on the run and got nothing there. So brings up 4th and 4 at the 48-yard line. We'll see if Southeast Polk might go for it. They're in the Waukee territory. Thought about it for a minute. Now they're going to, looks like, send in the punt team. And looks like Parker Dries will drop back to do the kicking. Primrose back deep to receive for Waukee. Snap to Dries. Punt bounces about the 27, and it's going to get a good Southeast Polk roll. Then turns back the other way, and they finally hit it about the, what is that, 14, 13?
Well, at first series, you saw the Rams really spreading things out. If you looked at their line, they had yard and a half splits for their linemen. And I think he threw to 3 or 4 different receivers. And then, you'd think you'd get some softness in that defensive line up front for Waukee. But, they shut him down on that long third down play.
With a 9-play drive, but they ended up punting. Here comes Waukee. Ben Firkin. Fakes it inside. He'll take it over the left side of his own. He's got some room up the left side. Cuts it back in. Crosses the 40 all the way up to the 43-yard line. Ben Firkin. Nifty run there. And Tyler Grotehouse
makes the stop. That was all Firkin, Dar. He just flat out turned on the Jets. And look out. That was a gain of 28 yards.
Yep.
44 from the 14.
30. Yep. Here comes Firkin. 2 receivers to the right. 1 to the left, single back behind him. He'll throw it out on the swing pass. Outside. Caught up the right side with it. Still going down the sideline. 20 ripped down at the 15-yard line. Firkin hits Tyler Grotehouse with the swing pass out of the backfield.
Pickup of 42 yards.
So Grotehouse on the carry on the second play. Now Waukee in scoring position, in the red zone, I should say. Swings it outside quickly, and that was going to go over the hands of Michael Winger. And so the first negative play or no game play here for Waukee.
I think we thought last week Firkin had a much bigger upside with his feet, and they didn't use him enough. And to take the pressure off of Ray, I think Valley keyed on Ray a lot. So now you're thinking Ray, but it's Firkin's feet instead that give you the opportunity. And they do that hard hut. This is the same thing they did last week. They come up to the line, get ready, have about 10 seconds, but now they do have to hurry.
Here's Firkin, Ray's behind him. Winger's out to the left. Gives it to Ray in the middle. He grinds around and gets knocked back, and I don't think he got anything out of that.
Daniel Ramirez was there, and he sniffed that play the entire time.
I think he lost one. So Ray loses a yard, brings up 3rd and 11 for Waukee Warriors here at the 18. Single back behind Firkin. That's Daniel Ray. 2 receivers to the left. It's Rose and Winger as they look to the far side and now unsure what they want to call there, and they call a timeout.
All right, let's go down to the sideline. Jim Kirby.
This is a whole different Waukee team you're seeing compared to last week against Valley. You see a very confident Ben Firkin throwing the ball and running the ball. They had this nice little drive going. Kind of come to a halt here with this big 3rd and 11 play. Confusion up there on the line, so a nice timeout here for the Warriors.
All right, thank you very much. That's Jim Kirby down on our sideline, and all of those reports are brought to you by Shields this season. Other scores here as we get you set. Lincoln and Indianola, no score in the first. Same with Centennial They're also Iowa City West. Dowling Catholic leads Urbandale 7-0. Ankeny in front of Johnston 10-0. And all of those scores are streaming the entire night here on CISN.TV.
So we got a 4-play drive. They've taken it from the 14, driven it all the way down to the 18 here. And now they're bringing in a little bit different personnel. For Waukee, they'll bring Cade Penn to the right side. Rolling, looking, throws it over there for Penn, and it's over his head, and good coverage. No, that was
Grodehouse they were going for.
Yeah.
And he was in the end zone. The ball was almost like thrown away. It was about 4 to 5 yards over his head. I don't think Grodehouse had much of a chance, and I don't think you'd call interference on that. There wasn't a chance for him to get that football.
And it was a smart play to throw it high, and
he was the only one that was going to get it.
Yep. So incomplete brings up 4th and 11 at the 18. And Skylar Crew will come on to attempt the 35-yard field goal. It's up and good. There's a flag down on the play. And he's pointing toward Waukee, looks like.
And if you believe the Southeast Polk coaches, they're going to say back him up. Couple of scores here. Dowling has gone in front of Urbandale now, 14-7, with 1:27 left.
5-yard penalty. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down. Moves it down, makes it 4th and 16 at the 23. They'll move it to a 40-yard kick. Skylar Crew made that one easily last time, and this one is good. So a 40-yard field goal with 5:56 to play in the first quarter, and Waukee takes the early lead here after driving down the field, getting stopped, and then kicking the field goal. And that makes it Waukee 3 and Southeast Polk nothing.
And you have the kick was made by
Skylar Crew.
40-yard field goal, Skylar, so he got 2 chances at it to kick it through.
Tonight's ball game brought to you by G&L Clothing, a real clothing store with real people selling regular big, tall clothing for almost a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll in Des Moines.
Let's go down to the sideline, and we'll see if Jim Kirby is up there. Let's go down there to Jim.
We were talking about Waukee's offense running down the field here, and just when you thought they had this momentum, their drive comes to the screeching halt. I think coming away with the field goal is a victory for the Warriors. I know they wanted more, but it's nice for the Waukee Warriors to have some room to operate as opposed to last week when everything they tried in the first half was almost stifled completely.
Here comes the kick. Going to be taken about the 2-yard line on the far side and up the middle and immediately hit around the 16-yard line.
That's Jennings again. Jennings is their guy. They're kicking it to him and trying to see what he can create.
So return brings up a 1st and 10 at the 18. Well, Waukee showed the ability to go down the field. We'll see if Southeast Polk here now. They had their drive stall and had to punt on their first drive. And McLaughlin brings them out. Cole Hauser behind him. 2 receivers to the left. He's got a slot back to his left. And he'll hand it to the deep back. He's looking to try to get it outside and can't quite get around the end, the containment there, Hauser. And it'll be pulled down. Good pursuit and didn't let him get to the corner. In
fact, I think he lost a yard, if not 2 on that play. So that's -3 yards for Hauser on this contest. This drive started in the exact same spot as the first one on the south, on the Southeast Polk 18.
Right.
And so they have their backs against the wall. It kind of running that same offense here. Kind of every play looks the same.
2nd and 12. Dropping back, fakes, pumps, throws it deep, has the man out there at the 45-50, 45-40. It's Jennings. Kalen Jennings Gave him a little pump fake, faked the back, threw it deep to him. He caught it and took it an extra 15 yards after that. So they take it from the 16 down to the 33 there. So big pass play.
51. Gosh, I'm slow.
I was trying to figure it out in my head too. 51-yard gain. Slot in motion, fakes the handoff. McLaughlin going right, throws it out there, has a man off his hands, and that
Jennings
time
Jennings,
yeah, he couldn't handle that.
So 51 yards on that play. That's a very nice, that's a way to get your defense on your heels again. And that's what the Southeast Polk, that kind of allows them to call anything right now.
So an incomplete pass there brings up 2nd and 10 at the 33. Jackson Cole out wide right with Jennings. He's got Hauser in the backfield and whistle blows.
Timeout. Southeast Polk.
That was a great read by quarterback Thomas McLaughlin. They caught him in a blitz and with single coverage on the outside. Kalen Jennings, great catch on a great throw. That last incompletion, boy, had they completed that, that would have been 7 for sure.
All of our sideline reports tonight. That's Jim Kirby, brought to you by Shields.
Yeah, I think he's right. If he hauls that in and turns upfield, at least he gets outside and gets a few more yards and gets down there closer and maybe, as he said, breaks that and takes it all the way to the end zone. Brings up a 2nd 10 at the 33. So Waukee, Southeast Polk got it, punted. Waukee takes it down the field, settles for a field goal. Now Southeast Polk has mounted a drive here. 1, 2, 3, 4-play drive. And they've gone, well, the big play was a 51-yard pass there from McLaughlin to Jennings.
I've got McLaughlin 4 of 7 passing for 78 yards. Jennings a big part of that. 2 catches, 52 yards on the game.
McLaughlin out with Hauser next to him in the backfield. Throws it out there quickly and handled quickly and brought down to Samuel Hackbarth. But quick out to the left side. And
they're going to give him, they gave him 6 yards on that play. All right.
So plus 6 on the pass. Makes it 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4-yard. 3rd down. 2 receivers left, 1 right. In motion is Jennings. Fakes it to him, throws it back out into the slot to number 44 is Jared Gulick. And that's a 1st down. Gulick takes it down to the 13. So 24-yard pickup there.
I think that's the 5th different receiver Southeast Polk has used tonight.
Hauser's back in the backfield. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Dropping back. And this time gives it to Hauser. He's still going over there right side looking for room. Looked like that was kind of slow developing, but Hauser kept the feet moving and got some yardage there. Pickup of 3 by Hauser. Brings up a 2nd and 7 at the 10-yard line. This time they'll send trips to the left. Single back in the back with McLaughlin. 1 receiver to the right. Throws it to that receiver on a quick in. And touchdown! Stretched over the goal line for the touchdown.
Parker Drees.
Parker Drees on the catch from 10 yards out with 3:08 to play, and Southeast Polk gets on the board and takes the lead here. So McLaughlin, Drees, 10 yards. Here's the extra point kick. Is up and good. That makes it 7-3. Waukee over Southeast Polk here with 3:08 to play in the first quarter. So a flurry of action here toward the end of the first quarter. Dar Danielson along with Paul Yeager here on CISN.TV, bringing you tonight's ball game. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have about 7 plays on that drive.
Yeah, I now have McLaughlin for 118 yards passing. On 10 attempts, he has completed 7 of them.
What a great drive by the Waukee Warriors. By the Southeast Polk Rams. They've got the Warriors running sideline to sideline. Then all of a sudden, Thomas McLaughlin heats up, and you can't imagine the poise that this quarterback has on that last drive. He just seems to be able to anticipate all these receivers that he has to work with. It was just a spectacular drive to watch.
All right, thanks Jim Kirby on the sideline with the Shields sideline report. Now Southeast Polk will tee it up and kick it off. They kicked it off to start the ball game. And back deep is Cedric Dobbins. Looks like Brett Houck and Brett Heron back there deep. Here comes the kick.
It's going to be Dobbins.
Dobbins in the middle. Up to the 15, 20. Got a little seam over there. Up across the 25 and is brought down. Up to, let's see, about the 27-yard line.
That was Michael Traeger made that stop. He came through, you're right. Dobbins had a nice seam there right along that hash mark, and he just kind of jetted it up there and turned about a 3-yard gain into a 13.
So Ben Firkin brings him out. Now Waukee trailing here. Slot man inside. He fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and is stopped for a loss. Just behind the line of scrimmage. Read that very well. Lose about a yard, looks like, on that for Firkin. 2nd and 11.
It worked on the last drive to go with him out of the chute, but I think Southeast Polk's expecting it now.
2:40 to play here in the first quarter. 7-3. Southeast Polk just went up on top. Firkin, quarterback, hands off to the deep back, looking for a room over the right side, and gets barely back to the line of scrimmage. Ray, before he's pulled down, pick up maybe a 3 or 2.
Kranz and Martin really did a good job of getting some room for Ray to run. But all of a sudden there was a defensive player for Southeast Polk kind of just shielded it back, shoved that offensive lineman down, came back to make a stop.
Dropping back, looking to his left, throws across, and receiver can't get to that one. Michael Winger looked like he was going down to try to get it, so they can't convert the 3rd down and 10, and Waukee will have to punt it back to Southeast Polk.
We were talking about the offense for Southeast Polk. How about this defense all of a sudden settling down? They're getting some great play out of their outside linebackers. Their defensive end, Hunter Salyers, had a great play to put some pressure on Firkin that last series.
And now the punt. Single safety back for Waukee. He takes it at about the 42, 43, up to cross the 50, 45 to the 42-yard line. And that's Jennings. No, that's number 0.
That was 8.
Or 8. Is it 8 or 0?
Those numbers kind of fold up. If it's 8, it's Garrett Nothway, and I'm going to guess that it was Nothway.
Yeah.
Nothway is 5'11", 170 pounds, senior for Coach Brad Zelenovich, who has a lot of the same staff that he left 2 years ago and was Denny Moeller's staff. That includes Don Starcevich and Jason Nolting, Mark Martin, Eric Henderson, Scott Fadevong, Chris Stravowska, and Kevin Ferguson. One change was on the offensive line coach for Southeast Polk.
So they take over with 1:45 here to go in the first quarter. Slot to the right, single back. Fakes, drops, looks, throws across the middle, and it's almost picked off the ricochet from the hands of Jared Gulick.
And Drew Johnson just about came up with it there.
Kind of hit Gulick in the hands, and he was trying to bring it in. Might have been just a little behind him. And as you say, the Johnston player just about able to pluck that out of there.
Drew Johnson would have said, yeah, I'll take that, but there is another penalty flag. And Jim Kirby, what is it?
It's an illegal man downfield. That's what the penalty is. That ball that McLaughlin just threw in that last series, it just came out of his hands funny. And, boy, Coach Carlson wished he could add that interception.
That would have been a big field change situation here, but now the penalty does that, takes it all the way back to the 47.
Brings up a 1st and 15 at the 47. For Southeast Polk, they lead here 7-3, 1:40 to play in the first quarter.
We just had a little situation to get the ball marked in the proper area, but we're ready to go, and that sun is all gone. Just a nice little orange strip in the sky. Our beautiful night for football.
Trips to the left, single to the right, tries to almost picked off as it was red there.
Brett Hawk.
Brett Hawk, yep. They've been going out quick to that left side, and Hawk was sitting on that one that time. And
Hauk was there,
yeah.
and he takes another half a step. That's his, and that's 6 the other way.
Austin Sutton was the intended receiver, but it goes incomplete, bringing up 2nd and 15. So we'll see Waukee defense here. We'll see if they can stiffen up. 3 to the right this time, 1 to the left again. Single back in the backfield, drops straight back, throws in kind of a slant to that outside receiver. And that's Sutton. This time he catches it and picks up about 13 for the 1st and 10.
Well, you throw in, remember, it was it's a pickup of 9, Dar, because it was 1st and 15 on that penalty.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at the wrong stick there.
So
right. Yeah.
now it's still a third and long.
6 at the 47. I looked at the front stick, not the back one. 2 receivers each side, dropping straight back. Across the middle, has his man down to the 20, inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Rocket throw there to number 3, Jackson Cole, the junior. And, man, talk about quick release. McLaughlin, you can see that pitching arm there, Paul. He fires that ball right down the seam, doesn't he?
Man, and that is, I think, now the 6th different receiver. They are spreading the ball all over.
1st and 10 at the 18, under a minute to play here in the first half. Southeast Polk on the drive again.
So that was a gain of, they needed 6 and they got what, 12?
Yep. And there's a handoff to the deep back. He rumbles his way up ahead. Garrett Northway, I should say. Garrett Northway rumbles down to the 2. And we'll see if they get another playoff.
Northway, a different back. He had it right up the middle, and when you throw that ball all over the time, it's very hard for those linebackers to stay home.
So I think they're going to let the clock run out. And at the end of the first period, it'll be Southeast Polk 7, Waukee 3. But Waukee is driving here, looking to get another score on the board. And let's see, Jim's ready. We'll go down to the sideline again.
It's just a masterful job that Thomas McLaughlin's doing at the quarterback. Like I mentioned earlier, such great confidence. You know, he's got the Warriors running sideline to sideline. The Warriors are creeping up a little bit on those outs that he's been throwing. Just wait for that double move. I'm telling you, it's coming. The Kalen Jennings. Mark my words.
All right, Jim Kirby with the Shields
Sideline.
Sideline, not halftime report. The
Or
sideline
half-line.
report. Oh, yeah. Easy for me to say. Tonight's game brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Exceptional people and exceptional experience for you. Always the power of price. Schottenkirk Chevrolet, 755 West Hickman here in Waukee. So they'll pick the ball up and take it down the other end where it'll be 2nd and 2 at the 10-yard line for Southeast Polk when we get this second quarter started. So they got to be happy with the way they've got this offense clicking now.
Jaguars lead Roosevelt at Centennial 14, Roosevelt 0. 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
McLaughlin comes out. He's got Gulick in the slot on the right. Behind him is Cole Hauser. Hands it off to Hauser, rumbles up the middle. That'll be a first down. It'll be 1st and goal to go now, as he gets down to the 7-yard line.
Ankeny leads Johnston 17-0. All those scores available on CISN.TV throughout the night.
So a pickup of 3 makes it 1st and 7 to the 7-yard line.
Hauser finally some positive territory in running, Dar.
Says Parker Dries wide to the right. There's one man in the slot. Goes over, hands it off up the gut. And looking for some room in there's Hauser. Gets a couple maybe.
I think they're only going to give him one.
Just one? I thought he got inside the 5, but they're marking it no, yeah.
Out at the 7.
7.
That is tough going. They are keen on Hauser tonight. I tell you, that's Coach Carlson's one of their strategies.
He was their main back in the first week of action there. So Hauser will come back in behind him. They'll send Jackson Cole to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Rolling to his right, throwing across and over the head.
They were going for Jennings again. Good coverage there in the back of the end zone, Dar. Nick Anderson was all over, almost double coverage, trying to throw it in that middle. It wasn't there.
Well, he threw it high and was maybe hoping he could go up and get it, but he couldn't. And it's 3rd and 7 at the 7-yard line. 3rd and goal at the 7. For Waukee. Austin Sutton comes in. He'll go wide to the left. It's Cole Hauser, the back in there. 2 receivers to the right. Rolling, throws it out to the looking for the wide receiver, picked off. There's a flag down there, though. Parker Drews was the guy going inside. It was picked off, and they're going to call ineligible receiver, so I think that'll stand.
Mark Primrose with the INT for the Warriors, 9 yards deep in the end zone. And you've got a couple of the Rams coming to that sideline. You've got Kalen Jennings and it might have been Adam Schwacke. Or maybe that was Parker Dries, 10 or 18. It's kind of hard to tell those 0s and 8s.
No, it was Parker Dries that was out wide and coming in. He was looking for him, yeah. And then it just, I don't know if it threw it behind him, but it was picked off. And here comes Johnston, Ben Firkin. Single back behind him.
I think that was the wrong route.
Might have been. There was, because the way he threw it, it seemed like somebody was crossed up somewhere. And there's
another flag.
Yep, another flag is a handoff and another flag.
Lehman gets the handoff, and the tackle is made, Dar, by Cody Wunderlich.
So the penalty, it's going to be holding a 10-yarder. They'll make it.
It's about our 5th penalty of the game.
Yeah, 1st and 20. Move the ball back to the 9. Here's Firkin. Single back behind him. 2 receivers to each side. Firkin says something to the deep back. Now looks to his left, pumps and gets hit as he throws. Gets it out there to Winger. And he'll get a few yards on that.
Well, I tell you what, he was looking deep the whole time. Firkin was looking deep, and he ended up going underneath.
And I think he was under pressure, too, so he had to get rid of it. He didn't want to get the sack back there. So to move the tight end over to the left side. Single back behind Firkin. Receiver to each side. He comes up toward the line. Now looks back to his back. Lineman hands it to him. He comes up field and gets knocked down just beyond the line of scrimmage. Picks up a couple. A lineman isn't going to get the first down. So they'll bring up a 3rd and long. 3rd and 14. +4 for lineman.
Not a lot of push from that offensive line to give either Ray or lineman a chance.
Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Under pressure, Firkin spins out of it. Now runs back to the right side looking for somewhere to go, and he's finally brought down around the 10-yard line, 11, 12-yard line as he falls forward. So a sack back there.
Cameron Padovich was chasing him the whole time, Dar. He did not give up on the pursuit.
So a loss of 6 brings up 4th and 17 at the 18. And they'll put him into a punt situation. Garrett Northway will drop back to receive the punt for Southeast Polk. And
tough punting situation. You're on your own goal line
I was just
here,
going to
Dar.
say, punting out of your own end zone. Jordan Yakovitz. Good snap. Here's the kick. It's going to bounce about the 40. And a little extracurricular activity there before it's down by Primrose.
Well, that was Brady Van Heeswijk, and he was just making sure he was hurt. Let's go down Jim Kirby down on our Shield sideline.
This is almost like last week's game for the Warriors. You know, they had such a slow start. But how about this Southeast Polk defense? I mean, they are playing disciplined and hard-hitting football. Just when you think the Warriors were going to get this thing going here, get a little offense, they just shut them down.
Tonight's game brought to you by Learning RX, brain training and cognitive skills testing, helping children think, remember, read, and learn better at 4949 Westtown Parkway, Suite 160. Here's Southeast Polk now. McLaughlin back on offense, gives the inside handoff, and looked like he was going to be stacked up in the backfield, Jackson Cole, but he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's, well, maybe he leaned ahead for one. But there was a big pile up in the backfield that time.
Who'd you say took that up the middle?
Jackson Cole.
So Cole, he's caught a pass. Now he's running the football.
Yeah, he kind of is all over out there. He can go in the slot. He can go in the backfield. Now they bring Cole Hauser up to the left of McLaughlin. He drops back, looks to throw it out, pumps, throws it out wide, and the receiver just can't.
He was going Jennings the whole time, the out and up, Dar. He was looking, he got him on the out, but you got to give a lot of credit. That's Drew Johnson. He kept Jennings in check. Johnson's the one who almost had the interception earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm. He kept right with him and didn't take that bite on the pump fake and brings up a 3rd and 9.
And coming up here after this next play, I got a special shout out for one of our viewers on the internet tonight.
Cole Jackson out wide to left this time. Twins to each side. McLaughlin dropping back. Throws it over the head of Kalen Jennings. Incomplete. So 7:30 to go. And we'll see what Southeast Polk does. If they'll keep the offense out there or punt. It looks like they might keep the offense out there.
Hey, a shout out to Dustin Dobbins. He's a U.S. Army officer, and he is excited to watch his son Cedric play for Waukee. He's watching tonight at Fort Leonard Wood here on the CI Sports Network, CISN.TV.
It seems like both defenses are kind of settling down. The Warriors looked a lot better on that last series for the 3 and out for the Rams. So it looks like it's going to settle into the kind of the game that we thought it was going to be.
All right, Jim Kirby with the Shields sideline report. As here's the Southeast Polk punt. Low line drive is going to bounce and hangs up there, and it'll be down. Nice bounce there, as it looked like it might go into the end zone, but it's down around the 2.
Austin Sutton. Great special teams. You want to talk about flipping the field. There wasn't too much to flip, but you certainly don't let them advance.
No, and that good punt there is easy to just boot that right through the end zone. They bring it out to the 20, but got it to hang up on that turf. And now Waukee will come out.
We've been on that north end almost this whole second quarter, Dar.
1st and 10 at the 3.
It's a good thing you're right-handed.
7-3 Southeast Polk with the lead, but Waukee, the home team, has the football backed up into their own end zone. Firkin under center, hands off to the second back through there. And there's a moving the pile up, maybe. See where they mark that. They're going to give him 1. Well, they're going to say lost one.
Lost one.
Wow.
Couldn't go much
11.
further.
I couldn't even tell who got the ball there. We'll see here. I think it's Ray in the backfield. Dropping back Firkin. Looking to throw it outside. Nice catch. Is he inbounds? He is inbounds.
Adam Rose, the big target last week, Dar.
Was that a perfectly thrown ball, though?
It was on that outside shoulder. It was the only one that was going to catch it. In fact, I was giving Coach Carlson a little grief about the sophomore game. There was an interception. I said he threw it to the wrong shoulder. Well, the varsity Ben Firkin didn't do that.
31-yard pass, 1st and 10 at the 33 for Waukee. Fake handoff, rolling to his right. Looking upfield, has a man behind the defense, and it's can't get there to Cade Penn. He had a couple steps on the defender back there, but just couldn't quite get to the ball. So they come out and do that rollout and go deep right away, and tried to capitalize on that.
That was a great catch on the sidelines here. The official was right on it. Of course, the Rams coaching staff didn't agree, but it was a great throw and a great catch.
Jim Kirby with the Shields sideline report. There's a handoff to the deep back and into the line Ray. He'll pick up maybe 3.
And Daniel Ramirez hit it so hard his helmet came off.
Brings up a 3rd and 9. They're going to give him just 1. 3rd and 9 for Waukee. Firkin got Ray behind him. Rolls to his right. Looks out there. Now is under pressure. Ducks under it. Throws it. Has his man out there. Rose. Adam Rose makes the catch down to around the 40-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Waukee in Southeast Polk territory.
Rose ran a nice route right in behind the linebackers and made all the difference on that play.
You talk about McLaughlin getting confident. What about Ben Firkin getting confident now? And that's what the Rams do not want to see.
Here's Firkin again. Throws it, swings it outside, and that's not going to go anywhere there. Caught in the backfield. Michael Winger. They winged it out to Winger, but he was caught in the backfield and lost some yardage that time. 2nd and 12. 5:33 to play here in the first half. 7-3 Southeast Polk. Waukee has a ball back after a big play that got them back into Southeast Polk territory. Winger with Daniel Ray behind him. Slot to the right is Ross Shutt. Firkin. Hands off to Ray. Ray looking for room over the right side. He's met there. Flag comes flying in. We'll see if there was a holding out there as he tried to get the edge.
Cody Wunderlich on the stop, and he was there the entire time. He had Ray in his sight, and that could be one of those spy situations where, hey, you are a sign. Where Ray goes, you go.
Great defensive play by this defensive line for the Rams. Cameron Padovich is one of them. Linebackers, Eric Pingold, are making some big plays on defense and putting a lot of pressure on that Warrior offense.
So now the question is, do you take this and drop him back, or do you decline it and take the down? Oh, they're going to drop him back. They take the 10 yards here, I think. Are they or no? They're going to decline it. Okay, so I thought he was picking up the ball to mark it
I did
back,
too.
But they're going to decline it and give him a 3rd and 12 situation here and take their chances with it.
I don't know. That's a risky gamble here.
Rose wide to the left. They got Winger out there too. Fakes the inside hand, now fumbles, and Firkin falls back on it. Back at the 45, so he's going to lose a couple there. And that play just did not develop well and was read well by Southeast Polk that time as the defense snuffed that right out.
Bradley Van Heeswick, disciplined football. I think that's what you can call the Rams defense right now. Very disciplined, very physical. They're making some huge plays.
Jim Kirby on the sideline, the Shields sideline report.
Van Heeswick blew that play up exactly right, Jim. He was on Ray, and it was something that Southeast Polk saw that they knew that was going to be the play. And I think that was not a run. I think that was a play action the whole way.
Going to maybe fake it to him, but then, yeah. Here's a punt, high punt. Fair catch called for, and he lets it drop.
Oh, you got to get away from that. Oh, man.
Stood there, but
Grant,
yeah, if it bounces into him, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Grant Northway was there that whole time, and I don't know what he was doing. He's got to get away.
He just kind of nonchalant, waved for the fair catch, let it drop.
Well, I think he thought it was going to go over his head.
Yeah.
And it bounced 6 feet in front of him.
Maybe the lights played little tricks with him there, but anyway, it marks it down at the 16. 1st and 10 at the 16 for Southeast Polk. 4:09 to play. They're leading 7-3 here, as both teams have tried to mount a little charge, but been stalled by the defenses. Tonight's game brought to you by Godfather's Pizza. We make pizza the way it's meant to be. Incredible crust, delicious veggies, hearty meats, and 100% cheese at Godfather's. So here comes McLaughlin, brings his offense back out, sends a man in motion, fakes to him, now throws back the other way on a screen over the left side. Got a few blockers, breaks it free, up to left side, still going, the 40, 43, 44-yard line. That was Hauser, I believe, on the screen.
And that's a way to get him maybe some running yards if you can pass it to him on that screen. Maybe they've been trying to set that up the whole time.
They sent a guy in motion to the right side, then faked it, screen back to the other side, and they get the 1st and 10 up to the 42-yard line. 3:51 to play here in the first half. Southeast Polk trying to mount another scoring drive. They lead 7-3.
Hauser has more yards receiving than he does rushing. It's up to 38 on 2 catches.
There's a fake to the back, and then McLaughlin takes it himself and finds nothing but white jerseys in the middle there.
That offense is very popular right now. It's an offense that Dowling was one of the first ones to run on the spread form, where it was the quarterback was in charge of a lot of things. Put it in there, see where the linebackers see. The zone read type thing. See what the linebackers doing, see what the cornerback's doing on some of that motion. And it's not as new. You got to keep reinventing yourself, and let's just see what Southeast Polk's going to do here. 2nd
and 10 coming up on 3 minutes to play in the first half. Dropping back McLaughlin. Tried to swing it out, and it's knocked down by the big paws there of 94, I think it was.
Jacob Wiggins.
Yep.
Wiggins was on the left tackle there, or right tackle of Polk, and Jake Mitchell did all he could to keep Wiggins from getting there, but that was a tough assignment.
So Wiggins knocks it down, brings up the 3rd down for Southeast Polk. They've got Jennings and Sutton to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Hauser with McLaughlin in the backfield. Drops straight back, looks, throws across the middle, wide open. He's going to go. 20, 15, 10, 5. Jackson Cole, touchdown. 42-yard strike. Nobody around him.
57-yard score to Cole.
57?
Yeah, it was on the 42. So 58. We're both wrong.
Yeah, we're both wrong. 58-yard touchdown pass.
Wow.
With 2:48 to go. And here comes the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. That makes it 14-3, Southeast Polk over Waukee. That was McLaughlin to Cole.
That was Cole wide open. There wasn't anybody around him for 30 yards or anything like that.
Yeah, that was a beautifully designed play, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but Thomas McLaughlin took a big hit from Jacob McDonald just after he let that pass go. He hung in there. He saw it unfolding. Big hit, big play, big catch.
58-yard touchdown pass. McLaughlin to Cole makes it 14-3. Southeast Polk over Waukee here in the second game of the season. Both of these teams looking for their first win on this young season. Tonight's game brought to you by Atlantic Bottlers, distributors of Core Power, a natural high-protein drink. Gatorade hydrates better than water. And Dasani Water, the pure, delicious taste of Dasani Water. Atlantic Bottlers here in Waukee. So
Oh, and I'll tell you what, Jackson Cole, huge shout out here. Another military family member watching, Jacob Cole, a cadet in the United States Air Force Academy, is watching his brother Jackson just score a touchdown. So I'm guessing Jacob's going a little crazy for Jackson's touchdown right there. Thank you, Jamie, for that note on our CISN Facebook page. Glad to have you there.
Kickoff taken at the 5. Crosses the 15-20, tries a reverse field, and then it'll be pulled down up about the 24-yard line. That's where Waukee will take over. 1st and 10. And the return by Cedric Dobbins up to the 23-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 23. For Waukee trailing here 14-3. Well, time for Ben Firkin to get the offense going here. They haven't been able to get on the board except for that early field goal here.
Well, they go back up the middle trying to establish something, and I don't know, running that it's lack of a better term, a draw because the quarterback's already in that shotgun formation. There's just not that traditional running, and I don't know. There's just not enough force push up front from Waukee to give Ray really any opportunity. Firkin's being asked to do a lot, Dar.
Yep, gain of 1. 2nd and 9 at the 24. Fake the handoff. Firkin rolls out. Out and up Rose goes, but he couldn't get the pass off. Rose came out and then went back up, but Firkin then got pulled down as he pumped and looked to throw it up the field. And there's a penalty flag down.
Give a lot of credit on the defensive side. Garrett Nothway there. He was the guy on Rose the whole time, Dar.
So holding again on.
Boy, guys, I'm telling you, this defense is really maturing after last week. The Southeast Polk defense, they're staying home. I mean, there's a reason why there's holding calls out there because these linemen, they're big and physical. And on that last play, there was just nobody to throw to for Ben Firkin.
3rd and 11 at the 22. And Rose was trying to make a move to get open, but as Jim said from our Shield sideline report, that just not enough time. Firkin drops back. Daniel Ray behind him. Dropping, looking, throws across the middle. I don't know where he was going to, but
2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts in the middle.
Yeah, and
I don't know who fell off in the middle.
But he was looking for somebody in the middle, and there's nothing there but a white shirt. And that's going to go incomplete and bring up a 4th down, stopping the clock with 1:51 to play here in the first half.
It seems like every time Ben Firkin gets the ball, there's the defense of the Southeast Polk Rams right in front of him posing for a team picture. He's just having absolutely no time to throw, and it's a tribute to this great defense that you're seeing.
So Garrett Northway will drop back at about the 46 to receive the punt. There's a low snap. He picks it up high, end over end kick, taken at the 50. Stutter steps across down the 45 and just kind of falls ahead down to the 41.
That's Nothway again, and I'll tell you what, Dar, you want to flip the field. If you're Waukee, you've got to get this away from your side of the field. I don't remember more than 3 plays being on the South 50 here, on the Waukee or on the Southeast Polk side of the field. It has been all on this north side. Waukee just can't get it flipped. In fact, they punted it to the 49, but then it was a 9-yard, 10-yard return.
Yep, and then they had a punt where they got pinned back around their own 2 or 3 yard line. They just, as you said, but not been able to get out of there. McLaughlin brings him out. Slot on the left and on the right. In motion is Kalen Jennings. Fakes to him, throws across the middle high there for Gulick. And he paid for that high pass. And we got a 2nd and 10.
Southeast Polk is getting off the ball so well with their receivers. McLaughlin's getting about a 3 to maybe 5 steps, and he is getting rid of that football. It's almost impossible for Waukee to get him down. And that just opens up a whole bunch of offensive opportunities. I mean, you're right now in a 4-3, almost a nickelback situation.
Quick out to Jackson Cole on the sideline. Runs up and runs a quick out, and they'll pick up about 5 yards there.
They are playing, those linebackers are playing 8 yards off the ball. Normally you want them about 5. They are dropping up in pass situation on almost every play.
3rd and 4 at the 36-yard line for Southeast Polk. Jackson Cole will go to the left side along with Kalen Jennings. One receiver to the right, single back in the backfield. Fakes the handoff, rolls out, tries to throw it back the other way looking for Gulick, but it's knocked away and falls incomplete.
Jake Shutt.
Finally, the Warriors are getting a little pressure on McLaughlin. Jake Shuck on that last play made a nice play coming off of his block, and basically McLaughlin just had to throw it away.
I think Southeast. Oh, I thought Southeast Polk was calling timeout. The guys in their red hats were all looking at the officials.
Well, they were looking. They've done this. They've waited a long time each time when they, decide where they're going to punt. Always got a back on each side of him here. McLaughlin looks to the sideline.
They're not going to run a play.
They're going to let it run down and get an extra 5 to punt it.
Jiminy Christmas.
Oh. Well, they call a timeout right at the as the clock runs down
You
there.
take it back 5 yards, that gives you that punt opportunity. I'm not sure what they were doing there because you're at the 35.
Yeah.
That's a 52-yard field goal. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do now.
Well, you just got to feel like the Southeast Polk's Rams are playing with a little chip on their shoulder. They have a lot more bounce in their step, a lot more poise, both on offense and defense. Right now, this is a fun team to watch. On the other side of the field, kind of back on their heels a little bit. You just can't help get the sense that just a couple completions by Ben Firkin and a little momentum, this game is going to turn around.
All right, Jim Kirby on the sideline, the Shield sideline report tonight. Dar Danielson, Paul Yeager here with you. 1:30 to play in the first half. It's 14-3, Southeast Polk over Waukee. Waukee has a 4th and 4 called a timeout. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. The Better Business Bureau is a leader in the marketplace trust. Before you choose to hire a business, check with the Better Business Bureau.
Other scores from around the area, all available on CISN.TV tonight. Indianola leads Lincoln 14-7 at Centennial in front of Roosevelt 27-0 right now. Valley has put 6 on the board at Iowa City West. Ankeny leads Johnston 17-0, a game you can hear with Tony Etzetti also on CISN.TV.
Dropping back, firing across. He was looking for Parker Dries there, but he was double covered.
Double, triple. There were 3 purple shirts there, and I don't even know if Dries ran the route deep enough. He was more at the 20. He needed to be at the 29. 20. He was more at the 31.
Yeah.
He was 2 yards off the first down.
And I don't know if he kind of stopped because he was triple teamed or what, but McLaughlin turned and threw it, and there was just no way that was going to get in there. So
well, it was high. Maybe he thought there was a guy behind him. Maybe that's the way that play was drawn up. I don't know.
1st and 10 at the 36, 1:26 to play here. Waukee will get the ball. And
we got to get Waukee's ball in the game.
And make sure it's the right air pressure, right?
That's right.
We don't
need any of that.
Firkin with Daniel Ray behind him. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Fakes, gives it to Ray, up to got some room. 45 up to almost the 50-yard line. Held it in there a long time and then kept it in the gut, and Ray busts off a play here. They move up quickly, just shy of the 50. And the clock will roll. Stopped on the first down. 2 receivers each side. Ray, single back in the backfield. Wings it out to the right side, breaks the tackle across down to the 40-yard line. The winger, or no, not, it was 16, not 18. Which would be Tyler
Grotehouse.
Yep.
So if you're going to run your 2-minute offense, maybe that's what you got to run the whole game. Waukee, all of a sudden, almost 40 yards on 2 plays.
Dropping back, looking, throws it long and deep, but it's going to be almost. They had a defender back there, but he couldn't get a shot at it.
Firkin can throw the football. He was trying to go to Adam Rose, and it was almost a flag pattern, which is run down into the outside, not down into the middle. That's more of a post. But they got turned around. Firkin can throw that thing.
Garrett Northway was the defender back there. So here we go again. Trips to the right side for Firkin. Looks to Rose, coming across, has him at the 30, on to the 24-yard line. Pulled down, the clock will stop with 44.1 seconds to play here in the first quarter as he found Rose just slanting inside.
Well, Waukee, this is an entirely different offensive approach than what they've done the entire game.
Trips to the right, Rose to the left. Rose breaking free, has him in the end zone. Knocked away. Knocked away at the last second there by Northway. Looked like Rose was open for a second.
He waited too long to throw the football. Dar, you called it. You had him right there. He was there at that moment. He kind of waited for Rose to get open, and he just made that move.
He probably should have let it go, as you said, a tick earlier, but
easy to second guess up here.
Northway got it. Dropping back. Throws across over.
He's
Has
open.
his man. He's going to cut it up to the 5. Knocked out. He didn't score. Knocked out about the 1 yard line. It stops the clock. 26.8.
Tyler Grotehouse again.
Grotehouse with the catch.
And you still have a timeout. Actually, Waukee has 2.
1st and 10 at the 1st and goal at the 2.
There is a sudden urgency with this Warrior team. This is what I like to see.
They got Lineman in the backfield, Daniel Ray in the backfield. Heavy set.
Going right side, but they came
Ray,
around the right
yep.
side. Oh, huge defensive stop. Cole Wunderlich came from that defensive end spot. He knew something was happening up that gut and just snuck around. They were trying to go off guard and tackle, and it didn't work. Timeout, Waukee.
Stuffed Daniel Ray.
Injury timeout.
Right in there, and let's go down to the sideline and see what Jim has to say.
That's Bradley Van Weeswick that just got shaken up on that last play. He's key to this defense. He's been playing a heck of a first half. Excuse me, that's not got the wrong number. I think that is Bradley Van Weeswick. Anyway, this Southeast Polk defense finds itself on the heels, and you got Ben Firkin all of a sudden playing like Ben Firkin. It was a great drive here. Let's see if the Warriors can finish it off.
I got Eric Pingle, number 58, a 5'10", 215-pound linebacker senior down at about the 4 yard line. Other scores, Dowling is in front of Urbandale 14-7. Remember, this is Dowling's first game of the year. They did not play last week, went all the way over to Cedar Rapids Xavier and sat in the gym and watched our coverage.
I talked to Coach Wilson this week, and he said it was evident on that Monday when they came out, because you had that first game, you're all ready and fired up, but he said then they finally, on Tuesday, they got back to it and, said, hey, we got a game to play. And that had to be tough, though, sitting over there and waiting. I
asked one of the assistant coaches, I go, what are you going to do at practice tomorrow or on Saturday or Sunday? Like, I don't know. We got nothing to break down. They normally break down tape on Saturday.
Yeah.
There's no treatment except for those guys with a sore bum for riding all the way over to Cedar Rapids and back. And this injury is a little more serious than I think we initially thought, because now they continue to huddle around. They're huddling around there, Eric Pingle. And they have a little more of a bag. I did not see a board come out yet. They do have him flipped over onto his back. Helmet is still on.
And let's see if Jim, he's looking out there. Let's see if he can tell anything more. I don't know if he can or not.
Eric Pingle is the injured player for the Rams, and they're up working on his shoulder and his right arm. It looked like he was losing feeling in it, and now he's getting up. It looks like he's going to be okay. It looks like a shoulder, but he's a key for this Rams defense. He's one of their great linebackers.
Thank you. Sideline Report brought to you by Shields. Tonight's game brought to you by Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling. Our goal is to deliver the best customer service with over 20 years and 4 generations of professional service. Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling, 115 12th Street, West Des Moines.
Waterloo East 17, Hoover nothing. Still 14-3 in this ball game. Indianola 14, Lincoln 7. Other games, you can catch all those scores on CISN.TV.
So here we go, 21 seconds to play first half. 2nd down and 4 for Waukee. They have one timeout left. 2 backs in the backfield. Rose wide to the left. Here's Firkin.
I don't know if this will hurt the momentum of Waukee or not, or give them a chance, since that last play didn't work, to kind of talk through it.
Last play was stuff, so let's see here. Drops back. Looking for Rose on the fade. Has him wide open. Touchdown! Touchdown to Rose. 4-yarder. Firkin to Rose. And made a pretty good move there, because he ended up wide open.
Well, you could hear the Southeast Polk coaches to our right, Dar. they knew it right away. They could see that Rose had escaped. Rose is somebody who was kept in check the first quarter and a half, and then all of a sudden Rose is reemerged as, hey, remember me, I'm a guy who can catch the football.
So they go out there in that offset line, then they move over for Skylar Crew to try to make this a 4-point ball game. Here's the snap. Kick is up and good. That makes it 14-10, Southeast Polk with 16.4 seconds to play here in the first half.
I told you guys the double move was coming. Adam Rose had a nice route. Ben Firkin sold the slant and then threw the corner route. It was a beautiful, beautiful play.
I thought he was going to go straight slant and then come back, try to fade it back there, and he didn't really have to fade it because Rose was so wide open. And that makes it 14-10 here, a 4-point ball game with 16.4 to play. And so credit Firkin, he got a drive going. And one of those, Paul, they started that with, what was there, the 24 seconds or something, or no, minute 20 something.
Minute 20, and it was that first play, I think. I don't know if Coach Carlson would have taken the air out and just sat on it. I think you want to get some positive momentum going, but it was Waukee moved it, I think, about 42 yards in 2 plays, and that set the tone for that drive. And it was a different offense. It really didn't look like different plays, but there was just a different intensity from this Waukee team on that last drive. So now, Southeast Polk 16 seconds, they can score 3 times in that, I think.
Northway and Jennings back to receive. It's a squibber, though, taken at the 35, 40. Ooh, looked like he was going to bust through up there.
Still got a timeout.
A 12.9. Up to the 44. Adam Schwakey picked it up and move it up to the 44. You take a shot here, or with 12.9 to go?
With Brad Zelenovich, I think you do.
With that arm, I think you would too.
Here's an update on Eric Pingle, their great linebacker for the Southeast Polk. They say it's his elbow, and there's a chance he might be able to get into play in the second half. They're going to check it out and see if he's able to get some movement back in his elbow.
All right, Jim, thank you. They got Kalen Jennings wide to the left side, receiver wide to the right side. And they hand it off up the middle, and that goes nowhere. So I don't think they're going to take a shot.
All right. We'll try to – I think Kirby's going to have to run, dude. You got to get after it. He's got to go chase down Coach Scott Carlson.
Jim Kirby will get over there and see if he can get the coach here. Halftime score, 14-10. Southeast Polk over Waukee. And Jim Kirby trying to run down the coach and talk to him. And
I think he's got him.
Yep, he's got him.
Hey, Coach, that's a great way to wrap up that second half. What do you say to your quarterback, Ben Firkin, at halftime?
Well, you know, I say great job, but first of all, let's quit shooting ourselves in the foot. You know, we don't need to be in this situation. We've asked a lot of our defense tonight. We've asked a lot of our offense tonight. We're constantly putting pressure on one another. We need to settle in and relax and play football the way we play. And when we do that, we're fine. But we just have to avoid those common pitfalls that keep getting in the way of our success.
What do you do to contain Thomas McLaughlin? He's having a great first half.
Well, no, we got to get more pressure. You know, that's the bottom line. We got to get our hands in the passing lane, and we just have to get a doggone rush. That's the big part of what we got to get done this half.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
All right, thanks, Jim Kirby. The Shields sideline report here. And coach is always not happy there. And he talked about it. Getting pressure on McLaughlin is a big thing, too. Don't let him move around back there.
And that is something that, I mean, Firkin has incredible potential. He has a great arm. Last year he had incredible receivers to throw the football, guys that went on to play at the next level. He doesn't have it this year. He's got guys that can play Class 4A football, but they're not to that level. Doesn't mean that they can't win football games. It's just developing that different chemistry with everything, and that's something that they're going to be able to do, and they're doing it right now. 14-10, the way Southeast Polk ran the football, threw the football in the first and second quarters, I think if you're Waukee, you're happy to be down only 4 points.
Well, we're going to have Waukee Athletic Director Jim Dewey is going to join us up here, and Paul's going to talk to him here at halftime in just a minute. And
I got a couple of scores here. I'm going to give you a quick update, if you don't mind there, while you collect yourself. We're going to the fourth quarter in Ankeny, a game you can hear on CISN.TV with Tony Etzetti and Benny Carroll. It is Ankeny 17, Johnston 3. Now remember, Ankeny won last week at Indianola, and Johnston won in the last moments against Southeast Polk. So you just kind of fun to see how those two teams kind of all stack up. It's still 14-7 as we go to the fourth quarter. As Dowling and Urbandale, early fourth quarter, Dowling 14, Urbandale 7. Valley has it first and goal on the 4 right now at Iowa City West. They have been grinding out a long drive, and that would be something that Valley, making that trip last year, Austin Cook, a 4-yard touchdown run. Hahn with the PAT. Tigers now lead 13-0 with 3:28 to play in the fourth quarter. So those are some of the other games, and you can have all of your scores if you're on to CISN.TV. They are on the top of your screen, and we love hearing from you on our Twitter account. That's at CISN.TV. And it's now, oh boy, just got an update. Another game also you can see on CISN.TV. Dowling and Urbandale tied at 14, so the Jayhawks score. 10 minutes left in that contest.
All right, let's run down our first half scoring here. It was Waukee got on the board first with 5:56 to play here in the first quarter. A 40-yard field goal by Skylar Crew, and that was after he made a 35-yarder. There was a penalty, brought it back 5, and he made the 40-yarder that made it 3-0. Then with 3:08 to go, it was McLaughlin to Dries, a 10-yard touchdown pass. The PAT was good, and that made it 7-3 Southeast Polk. And into the second quarter, 2:48 to play in the second quarter. It was McLaughlin to Cole, who broke wide open across the middle, went 58 yards for the touchdown, and the PAT was good, and that made it 14-3. Then here late in the second quarter, 16.4 seconds to go, Ben Firkin to Rose in the end zone on a double move, and he scores from 4 yards out. PAT was good, and that puts us at 14-10, our halftime score. I'm going to turn off my headset and get it over to
he is here.
Dewey here.
He had to get the dance team going on. He had all sorts of things to go on. A home football game. We are very fortunate to have with us the athletic director of Waukee High School, and that's Jim Dewey. And Jim, good to see you again, second week in a row. Home game's a little different than a road game for you, isn't it?
A little more work to do.
I'm glad to have you.
And I had to walk up the stairs, so I apologize for not being able to breathe very well.
You're an old coach. You probably run. You're still in great shape. What do you do, like 6 miles a day?
Let's just say that, yeah.
No, you gotta. We're here on the visitors' side, and which used to be your home side.
Yes.
And that's the growth that you've had here, and it's fun to look across that field, and those stands are full. It's not a perspective you get to see very often.
No, it's a good look from over here. It's a funny story. When we put this side of bleachers in, which would be 16 years ago, the community was just all up in arms because, as you know, we're sitting on the east side of the stadium, and we had to look into the sun, and our people were so upset that we would ever think of putting a home side on the east side, and we had a plan. Obviously, we knew the growth was coming, and we were able to put the beautiful home side in 2 years later, and it's nice to see that it's full as I look across.
And it is they are seeing a pretty good football game. If probably a little better if you're wearing the black and yellow Southeast Polk, but Warriors are hanging tough. That was a different. Dar and I were kind of talking. That last drive was a different drive for Ben Firkin and company. A little more intensity.
Yeah, I think they might have had a wake-up call over on the sidelines after some of the mistakes that we were making early on. And as anybody would know, it doesn't take an expert. You got to be able to run the ball a little bit, and we weren't running the ball well, and we were just having holding penalties and too many mistakes. And it's neat when you don't make mistakes. It's amazing. You walk right down or drive right down the field for a touchdown.
Well, Dar and I were just talking about, Ben Firkin's still the same guy, same good arm, just learning some of those different receivers last year. Just incredible talent that he's having to learn. But last year was just a very special year here for Waukee Athletics. And we're looking to the west, and we see the tennis lights are on. There were kids practicing soccer. I'm looking at a state champion softball field right behind as I walk up here tonight. A lot of championships here.
Well, yeah, and we talked before that I would like to have the opportunity to just talk a little bit about our successes from this past year. And I think without getting into a lot of specifics on specific teams that did well, the culmination of all of them resulted in two really neat awards that we received, and one of them was the All Sports Championship for large school division. That's an award that's compiled by the Des Moines Register that you get points for your performances at state competition. And we had the most points. In fact, ended up having the second most points from what I was told since the award, its inception, which would have been back in 1999. So we felt like from an athletic standpoint, we had just an outstanding season. And then maybe even a better award, and for me as an activities director and for our school, probably a more prestigious award was winning the Bank Iowa Challenge Cup. And that's the award that not only talks about your athletic success, but it also brings in the fine arts component, and it also brings in your academic success within those sport teams and those fine arts groups.
Well, your fine arts, the band is on the field right now, and you can see it there on the screen as you're watching. They have a festival here later in the fall, but this is a band that was one of the best in the state, if not one of the country.
Yeah, I mean, we're so proud of what our band does, not only at half times, but in the competitions that they go to throughout the fall. We host the state marching band competition here on our own field, which is kind of neat. And then we follow that up later that evening hosting I think it's an 18 or 16 or 18 band festival that evening, in which we're just the host and we do a performance at the end, but we're not part of the competition. But yeah, our band, our fans love to watch the band at halftime. Our dance team was out there before them, and they've had tremendous success. I think I'll get my stats wrong here, but I think our dance team has won 8 consecutive state championships or something like that. So an outstanding group there. So we're very fortunate in Waukee, I believe, to have outstanding facilities, and those outstanding facilities, we have outstanding athletes and performers to compete in them.
Well, Jim Dewey's our halftime guest, activities athletics director here at Waukee High School, and you don't have that long-standing tradition that some towns have, in the sense of you have not been this big for this long. No. But how is it that you're able to build such support for the band, such support for football? How do you do that as a team and as a town that keeps growing, and that you have all of these people moving into your community?
Well, that's a very good question, and I'm not sure I know the answer for sure. I know our community is extremely supportive, and it's a very unique community because we really have 4 towns feeding our school district when you think of West Des Moines, Clive, Urbandale, and the town of Waukee. And the neat thing is that even though we're coming from 4 different towns, there seems to be a real community sense of pride centered around our school district and the successes that we have. And I think you throw on top of that, we have some excellent directors in the fine arts, and I think we have a fine coaching staff that helps take talented kids and makes them better.
One thing, as we've talked before in years past, what's next? What's the next big facility? I mean, you just have that incredible field house that you've opened. This will be, year 3, I think, already for that? Yes. That's a small college atmosphere over there. In fact, there's some small colleges that would love to have that atmosphere, if not small universities. What's the next step for Waukee here?
Well,
other than parking, we always know that's the issue that makes the news.
I apologize if you had to walk a long ways. That's something that we haven't mastered yet, of how we're going to get everybody parked here for our football games. Honestly, the next big thing for us, and it's out there, it's out in our community, it's out around the state, is we will eventually grow to the point of having to have 2 high schools. We're not set on what year that's going to be. We know it's at least 5 or 6 years down the road, but it's going to come. We don't know where it's going to be yet. We don't know what it's going to be called. I'm pretty sure it won't be called Waukee Centennial. I'm pretty sure about that. But I tell our superintendent, I think let's just make it a direction. If it's north, south, east, or west, let's just
West
be
Waukee.
Yeah, do something like that.
Well, I think Adele would like to say we're West Waukee. Well, and that's something, but you joke about Centennial and Ankeny, but that is almost a blueprint of what to either do or not do and tweak it. Not to say that you have to copy everything they do or not do, but they have given you a roadmap of maybe ways that you can take a growing community and try to keep some cohesiveness.
Very good point, and it's very true. In fact, to the point where longtime athletic director activities director at Ankeny, Gary Telford, who passed away just recently within the last couple of years, we actually were going to hire him after his retirement. We were going to bring him back and have him kind of be a consultant for us as we kind of attacked the activities component of going to 2 high schools, and unfortunately for Gary, he passed away. But yeah, we will take things and learn from what Ankeny has done, tweak a few things as you mentioned. It's interesting. The superintendent in Ankeny, he spent a long time in our district, not only as a counselor but also across the street as an assistant superintendent here in Waukee. So we do have a great relationship with them and a great connection to learn from them.
Well, and you have, in Ankeny, it's the football field that they're talking about. Okay, we're going to renovate it and make a community field. Again, talking in the future, you could do the same here. You could give that second high school lots of things to be decided, and I can tell not a lot's been nailed down yet.
No, we have talked about what will we do from a stadium standpoint, and nothing is definite at this point. But I would say that right now we would look to make improvements at this site, at this facility, add more bleachers. Kind of a unique thing for us. Our football locker rooms are down here at the south end, that building there. So if we had a second high school, we wouldn't want to take a second high school and bring them into an existing locker room where our team actually lockers. So we know we'll have to put in another building. We've talked about it possibly being at the north end, so we kind of make it a little more symmetrical.
North and south, sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
It will be neat when we get to make those decisions. We feel like we have just an outstanding track facility here, and we don't want to do anything to hurt that. We think that if we'd go to 2 high schools, I think both schools would benefit from running at this track in their track meets. It's a great venue for soccer as well. I don't think there's any need for us to make a second stadium at this time.
Well, and that's we had no idea we divulged into this. I appreciate you going into that and putting you on the spot.
Just don't ask me any questions about curriculum or anything like that, because I wouldn't be able to answer those.
Well, and it's always kind of fun to come into Waukee because it is still that community. I can remember, I kidded you last week about 1991 when you were still at West Des Moines Valley, but I remember coming to Waukee in 1991, and really it was just the co-op and the elevator over here that still exists. And Dar can probably say he remembers Waukee when it was that size. Maybe Janesville size, maybe not that small. But it's a community that's grown, and one that seems to have done everything well. I mean, you don't hear about those stories, at least someone that lives in Ankeny or in Urbandale, they don't hear these stories that maybe you think are all on the inside of, oh, that's terrible, oh, that's wrong. You don't hear it from the outside. So from that vantage point, you're doing everything okay.
Thank you. It's neat. I really enjoy talking to not necessarily Waukee historians, but the people that were around here when Waukee was a 1A school or a 2A school, and hearing stories about what it was like at the football field, which was on this site, by the way. But there was a time when they used to line the entire track area, which was not a real track, it was asphalt. And the cars would line around the track to help with lighting at the games, and you hear stories like that. And I know of a story where we had a young lady, I think 1974 was the year where she placed second or third in the hurdles at the state track meet, and the superintendent had gone out and bought 4 hurdles so she could at least practice, because at that time they didn't even have a track. You hear stories like that. And then how things progressed through the 80s, and we had tremendous success in girls basketball. I know back then when it was a 6-on-6 sport.
6-on-6, sure.
And then moving into the 90s, and we had great success late in the 90s in softball, and we've kind of carried that over, and carried over the girls basketball success as well. And it's just really been neat to listen to people talk about, well, you remember when this happened, or you remember when it was like this. Now we have sports that we didn't even have back then, so
Right.
it's kind of neat.
Well, and, like I said, I mentioned I saw some of the youth soccer kids were playing earlier, and the youth programs in general. I would imagine if they're not playing in West Des Moines or Ankeny, they're playing in Waukee.
Yeah, probably.
It's one of those 3 sites in town.
Yeah,
with a youth program.
We have a Vision Soccer Academy, which is kind of the club that feeds our school district. Just build a site, and we actually share. We have a shared agreement with them in the school district and the Vision Soccer Academy, and they put in a beautiful soccer complex just down south of our new Timberline 8-9 building. And yeah, soccer's big in Waukee, and as are all of our other sports. I kid some of our youth football supporters that there's more youth football teams practicing. I can't believe it. I mean, there's not a space on our campus where if it's green grass, we don't have a youth football team practicing pretty much every night of the week.
Well, take a look at that when you come by and just look for those kids and just slow down as you're driving through. Well, Jim, you finally got to sit down for a couple of minutes and take a break, but we're going to let you go and get back to your activities, and we hope to see you later on in the season. Jim Dewey, thank you so very much for coming up here at halftime.
Well, thank you very much. We love having you here. You do a great job.
Thank you so very much. Tonight's halftime brought to you by Powerade. Give your game some flavor. Powerade, we could have a little bit of drink of that. And as we are here at halftime, it's Southeast Polk 14, Waukee 10. And Jim Kirby is on the prowl. He is headed for head coach Brad Zelenovich. And as soon as we get that connection made, we'll be able to do that interview. And I think Coach just kind of walked away from him right there. So Jim's, it's nothing personal, Jim. I don't think so. But he is down. Coach Zelenovich is down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. And he is talking to those guys and probably going to have them and talk them through. So we'll try to get to the head coach who is leading.
Well, and he saw that 11-point lead drop to 4 right before the half, so the coach probably isn't happy with that and, has some adjustments he wants to make there. But
was he ready and I just didn't see him earlier?
I don't know.
I don't think he was.
No.
All right, I was blocked from there. So thank you, Jim, for coming up. Jim Dewey, athletic director, and kind of fun to get around the conference and around the metro and talk to some of these folks that knew each other as coaches or teachers in other districts, and now they are different colors, but they're all still friends, and that's what's kind of fun.
And isn't it, it's interesting how he's talking about looking ahead and how to expand, and unfortunately some of the rural districts, they're looking at, do we combine or do we close the school, but you have the luxury here of looking at, we're going to keep growing and build another high school. How do we do that? How do we, keep the facilities that way? It's just a blessing for these schools here to have that.
And, and there are towns, I think the towns that you and I came from, not quite to that point yet, but we know towns that are like that. And it's not a problem in Ankeny. It's not a problem in West Des Moines. It's not a problem in Urbandale. But even on some of the metro schools, they're not shrinking. I mean, East and Lincoln, they're 2 of the biggest in the state. They're in the top 5 biggest schools in the state.
Yeah.
And it's just the athletics have not stayed at the pace with that enrollment. So that's one thing we're going to have to do. You had a quick look at some of the statistics here, and if it does break down, we'll have them. Let's try to get Jim Kirby. We'll see what we can do.
Hey, Coach, McLaughlin seemed to be playing a little bit better this week. What were your words to him at halftime?
Oh, no, just keep doing what he's doing. He's throwing it pretty well, and we talked to him all week about just, do what they tell us to do. Just stay within the plan and execute.
With the exception of a few plays, the defense played pretty good with the exception of a couple?
Yeah, that last drive kind of hurt us. We kind of went for it in 4th and 4, and they took it down and scored right before half. But, just the message, we like the message sent to our kids that, we're going to be aggressive and play to win.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, Jim Kirby down on the Shields sideline this entire game.
And Waukee deferred here to open up the game, so they will, I'm assuming, take the ball here to start the second half. And
I'm going to give you a couple of the score updates here, if you don't mind, if that helps you out. Dowling had a 57-yard run, set up a score with 3 minutes left. It's now the Maroons 21, Urbandale 14. That game can be seen on CISN.TV, but we got a pretty good one here ourselves. Some of those other scores, Valley leads Iowa City West 13-0 at last check. And a couple of other scores here. Johnston and Ankeny are in a very good one. And I'll have another score here. All Johnston's given it. Now it's 20-0 at halftime. I had said that was a fourth quarter score at Valley. It's halftime with the Tigers leading the Trojans 20-0. That is in Iowa City tonight.
All right, so it'll be Waukee receiving to start the second half. They go on the north end. And Southeast Polk will kick it off, leading 14-10, but Waukee will see if they hold up that momentum where they scored right before the end here of the first half. 3 men deep for Waukee. Dobbins, Primrose back there. And the deep kick's going to go out of the end zone for a touchback. And Waukee will start the second half, 1st and 10 at their own 20.
2 minutes to go on that game at Valley Stadium. The defending champions. And Urbandale last week put a hurt on Hoover. We'll keep an eye on that one for you so you can stay watching us here.
Ben Firkin brings them out. Receivers 2 to each side. Single back in the backfield. Ray. And fakes the handoff, throws it across and dropped.
Winger was open,
Winger, yep.
Dar. He had slipped in right behind, ran a simple slant route, 4 yards down, and then come back in. And he got right between that linebacker and cornerback and just couldn't hold on.
Well, that'll bring up a 2nd and 10 at the 20. Same formation. This time they hand it off up the middle, 25-30, across the 30 to about the 32-yard line is Ray, Daniel Ray. So just you think they're going to, drop back in that passing offense again. They bust one up the middle.
If you guys notice on the sideline, number 58, Eric Pingle, the great linebacker for Southeast Polk, has got his pads off. He's not going to come back and play. So 33, Griffin Vesley's in there, and we'll see how well he can do.
Perkin is bowled over and sacked there on first down.
That was Braden Vasey, and I'm going to go back to the play before where it was a good line play up front by Brandon Krantz on that right side. Let's see what he can do if they're going to run his way again.
Dropping back, Firkin looking out, throws it to the short man and can't handle it out of the backfield is Ray. And looked like he had Rose out a little deeper there.
I think that was a dump-off play the whole time, Dar. It didn't look like they were going deep, but that doesn't mean they won't go deep on this one.
Maybe looking to dump it and have Ray rumble free in there. Rose wide to the left again. Ray in the backfield, trips to the right. Firkin dropping back under pressure, gets by a tackle, now throws it across the middle and caught up at the 45-yard line. Cade Penn makes the catch, and it'll be a first down for Waukee.
He just got right in behind the linebackers. He got 5 yards beyond the line of where he needed to get that first down. That's good awareness of where to be.
1st and 10 at the 45. Fake, gives it to Ray, and he gets maybe one. Daniel Ray. And Wunderlich on the tackle for Southeast Polk. 2nd and 9 as they go to the run that time. Trips to the right, throws it out to Rose, has him. He bobbles it, but brings it in up to the 40-yard line, down to the 40 of Southeast Polk.
Dar, what do you suppose is the difference here? I don't notice anything different that Southeast Polk's doing to allow Waukee. The only thing I can think of is that there's more pressure, that maybe the Waukee line wants Southeast Polk to get into that line of scrimmage.
And off to Ray, up the middle, busted across the 30 down to the 25.
And free up some of that room off the front line, because sometimes you do want that offensive line. As an offensive line, you want the defense to quickly come through, whether you're running a screen or whatnot, because there's a lot more in that linebacker position.
Quick tempo now, Firkin gives it to Ray. This time a little slower going. I think what happened, too, is they got there was a short clock, and they kind of got Southeast Polk in a little bit of defense, and they kept at them there at the end of the first half and found that rhythm, and they've come right back out with it here and are mixing up the run and the pass really well.
A lot more sense of urgency.
Ross Shutt comes in at the tight end on the left side. Looking for Rose, throws to the end zone. It's over his head. Picked off! Picked off! He'll run it out of the end zone. 15-yard line, cuts back across. And
it's
tripped up.
Northway.
Northway and Rose been battling all night. And that time Northway picked it off and chose to run it out of the end zone.
Jim Kirby down on the sideline.
This is exactly what Coach Carlson was talking about going into halftime, shooting themselves in the foot. Not a bad pass, but I'll tell you what, Garrett Northway went after that ball and got that interception.
Yeah, it looked like Rose is open there, and just, Northway made a good play, as Jim Kirby said in our Shields sideline report. So Waukee driving, and that'll stop that momentum of the offense there, a turnover.
14-0. Waukee wanted to take that opening possession and punch it in, but one small side of this is you did flip the field, and you now have Southeast Polk on their side of the field with a long way to go.
Hand off to the deep back, Hauser.
Coming away with it was the big lineman, Jake Howell, 6'2", 265. Not really sure I want to tackle a guy like that. Maybe in the NFL they do, but.
Brings up, well, we lost one there. Got him behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd 11 at the 16 for Southeast Polk. McLaughlin fakes a handoff, rolls to his left, throws it outside, cutting up across the 20. Good pickup there to Ginther, Joe Ginther. And that pickup of 5 makes it a 3rd and 6 for Southeast Polk.
Now, Southeast Polk all of a sudden, now they haven't had their offense on the field much.
Gulick comes back in at that slot back.
In recent times here, Dar.
2 receivers to the right. In motion is Jennings. And they try to throw it across, and
they're looking for McDonald on the interference across the middle, and they might have a case if they're the Rams. But now all of a sudden what had happened to Waukee has now happened to Southeast Polk, Dar. 3 and out. And all of a sudden you got to flip it over.
So they had Gulick and Dries running right into that area, and there was a lot of purple shirts in there. And Southeast Polk people here on this side wanted some kind of interference call, but didn't get it there.
Urbandale looks like is going to hold. Urbandale was going for 2. They had scored with 41 seconds, and it's 21-20. That ball game's going to be a final.
High snap. Punt bounces back. Big roll for Southeast Polk. That's going to keep rolling inside the 10, down to about the 5-yard line.
That's a 90-yard punt.
And a big roll on that. As
I once saw Marv Cook do that for the University of Iowa.
That was a great punt for Southeast Polk. Great bounce. That last series, that was the first time you really saw the Warrior defense step up. Jacob McDonald for the Warriors is wreaking havoc in the middle of that Southeast Polk offense. We'll see what happens in the second half here.
Here comes Firkin with his offense. Daniel Ray is back there, hands it to Ray. Tough sledding, trying to get some room up there. Maybe finds a yard over the left side.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record here, but field position huge now, because what looked like what once was lost has now been found.
Well, the turnover
is Waukee in their own shadow, their own end zone.
Turnover kind of did it, and then the big punt is Waukee driving, turns it over. Firkin drops back, throws it out wide open at the 40, 50, 45, 40, 30. Can he break it all the way? Wrapped down from behind.
I think that's Nick Belcher.
Belcher off the Firkin pass. No, it's Cade Penn.
Cade Penn. Yes, it was Cade Penn.
Cade Penn.
He picked it up at the 40. He got in behind the 2 defenders of Southeast Polk.
Gunnar Jorgensen saved the touchdown at the 15, or 14. 1st and 10 at the 14. Firkin hands it off up the middle, driving into the middle of the pile down to about the 6.
It's almost textbook there. Big open pass play, go right back up the middle on the run. But
Daniel
7
Ray.
yards at a crack for Ray.
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Twins to the right. Throws it out to the back coming back, and nothing there. Maybe a yard as he swung it out. Jorgensen on the tackle.
They got Rose on single coverage here on the near side. He's guarded Bradley Van Heeswyk. Has the mission here. He's on that wide side. The ball's on the right hash, Dar.
Winger wide to the right. Ray is the
They're
tailback.
looking
They look for
Rose.
him in the slant. Touchdown, Rose. Firkin to Rose with 6:30 to play. Waukee will take their first lead of the ball game.
Rose was on that single coverage on that side, Dar. He ran that slant. Again, just about 4 yards down and then in. 1-2 made a move to the outside and went right underneath the defense. That was a tough play, tough pass.
He hit him at the end of the first half. Tried to go to him earlier in the quarter, had it picked off, and now comes back to Rose and hits him this time. And it's a 16-14 lead pending the extra point here by Skylar Crew. Here's the snap. Kick is up. Kick is good by Crew. And that makes it 17-14. Waukee takes their first lead of the ball game. Let's go down to Jim on the sideline.
Different team here in the second half for the Warriors. I mean, you got Ben Firkin with a lot more poise and confidence. And how about that offensive line? Guys like Jared Martin, Eric Sorensen, all of a sudden, Ben Firkin's getting time to look around the field and make some plays.
6:30 to play here in the third quarter. Waukee takes their first lead.
That Cade Penn, that play, that basically just a flat-out jet down the Waukee sideline, and they just said, outrun it, and I'll throw it to you.
Yep.
I'm not thinking Firkin's any different. All you're going to do is get better.
Yeah.
And
if you give him time back there to throw, he's had some guys on him a little bit, but found a little more time to get rid of the ball. And when he does, he can rocket it out of there just like McLaughlin can. And I think that's what the coach talked about. They need to get a little more pressure on McLaughlin.
I want to go back and recap that Urbandale-Dowling game. Urbandale scored with 40 seconds left, went for the 2 points. So you go for the win on the road, tie if you're at home. Went for 2, and it was stuffed. No chance. Dowling 21, Urbandale 20. I think that's a lot closer than a lot of people thought. Don't know a lot about the Maroons yet, the defending champs, but we know a little bit more about Urbandale. They fall to 1-1, scored a lot of points in their first 2 games.
Northway and Jennings back deep to receive the kickoff here for Southeast Polk. Trailing now for the second time. They trailed after the early field goal. This is going to bounce and is going to go out of bounds. Oh, he keeps it in bounds. And I think he kind of waited to see if that was going to go out and then finally did pick it up and gets it up to about the 21-yard line. And let's go quickly down to Jim.
Get a little chippy down here on the sidelines. You know, I was wondering why on earth Kalen Jennings would make a play on that ball. And, well, he got a few yards on it, but he paid for it here on the sideline.
Jim Kirby with their Shields sideline report. As Southeast Polk comes out, tonight's ball game brought to you by CenturyLink, the official internet provider of CISN.TV. Here's McLaughlin. Slot on the left and hands it on a reverse option play. Little crossbuck up the side.
Wow.
It's still going. That was Jennings.
Mark Primrose knocked him out of bounds, and I'm not saying he saved the touchdown. There's a lot more pursuit coming, but he saved another 10 yards.
He faked that inside to Hauser and then turned back around and give it to Jennings coming outside, and he took it right up the right sideline, and a big gain there. 21 up to the 47, 26-yard gain. Here's McLaughlin. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Looks to his left, now rolls to his, or looks to his right, rolls to his left, hits his man out there. up to the 44-yard line.
Jackson Cole, give him credit for running the route. He was about 10 yards deeper on that play, Dar. Kind of took a man and a half. Cole already had a really big catch earlier in this contest, so you have to respect him. I think Southeast Polk's had at least 6 different guys touch the football tonight, so you have to kind of keep everyone in mind that could catch the ball.
Yeah, they have a lot of different options when he drops back. Southeast Polk. They send Cole in motion, hand it to him, he's looking to pass. Has a man up the right side, Drees catches it, 10, 5, pulled down about the 3-yard line. Parker Drees off the option pass. And Jackson Cole pitches it downfield to Drees as the defense kind of took a look when Cole came around there. And it's 1st and goal to go for Southeast Polk at the 4-yard line. 5:27 to play here in the third quarter.
Love the play call.
They're trying to get back on top here. They got Hauser back in the backfield. Hands off to Hauser. He plows into the middle there. Still going. No signal yet. And Southeast Polk trying to sell it, but the official says no, he's short. They're going to mark him at the 2, looks like. As the crowd, of course, over here doesn't like it. They thought he was still moving and into the end zone. So they just give him a 1-yard pickup. 2nd and goal at the 3. McLaughlin puts his hands up in the air. Now takes it, hands it off to Hauser, left side, touchdown! 3-yard run.
They went back on the left-hand side, off center, just ran behind the horses, and that's what you got to do when you're inside the 5. You can prove a lot about a football team when you can move the football like that. So a 3-yard touchdown run.
Off the couple trick plays there. They did kind of the crossbuck reverse and then the option pass. Here's the snap for the extra point. Kick is up, and it's good. And that makes it a 21-17 ball game.
Well, Coach Zelinovich isn't afraid to use a little gadgetry, some eccentrics out of his bag of tricks. It's nice to have another quarterback in your backfield, Jackson Cole, to take that half-back pass and throw it and get his stats up. A great play, a great series for the Rams.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, and he is the backup quarterback here. And Cole Hauser also at one time was vying for that quarterback job before McLaughlin won it, I guess. And that puts Southeast Polk back on top, 21-17, 4:37 to play here in the third quarter. And the offense is picking up a little bit now here, Paul.
It's always fun to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of an offensive surge. You can watch us on CISN.TV, which if you're watching us, of course you already know that, but if you're watching us on the replay on YouTube, we're live every Friday night with a couple of games on video, a couple of games on audio. You'll see every Southeast Polk home game, and you'll see a couple of their road games. I'll have their game next week as they'll be at Valley Stadium, and then they'll return home the week after that.
Here's the deep kick. And that's going to be a touchback. It's in the end zone. And I will be back here for Waukee and Dowling next week.
Be a good one, too.
It's going to be an interesting game as Dowling getting their first win and a close one.
Waukee has struggled against the Maroons in recent history. I think the Maroons, they'll learn that. Remember, that's their first game tonight.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to figure out who their quarterback is. There's no doubt about who Waukee's quarterback is.
It's Firkin. He's number 8 there in the purple in the backfield. They look to their right to get the play. Firkin set. Ray behind him. And they give it to Ray. Ray's hit immediately and ripped down that time. It doesn't work every time, but that run to Ray is just keeping him honest inside, too, I think, a little bit. You can't come full bore because Ray's in there and he's broken off a couple runs, and you got to, play it a little honest, and that gives Firkin maybe a little more time back there.
Speaking of time, time is not an issue for either one of these teams. Lots of time left here in the third quarter. We still have a fourth to go. Out and up.
Firkin throws it up the sideline. Caught
again.
And knocked out of bounds at about the 50. Did he hang on? They're going to say no. Nope, they're going to say he did not. Well, one official waited and asked for the other official on the call on that. And what did you see, Jim?
That was just a great play by Bradley Van Heeswick, number 25 for the Warriors. Penn had the ball a little juggling and then a great hit that knocked the ball out of his hands.
All right, Jim Kirby with our Shield sideline report. Makes it a 3rd and 10 here, 4:03 to play in the third quarter. And now they're going to send the tight end out, bring in another receiver and go trips to the right side. They took a shot out of there. Trips right, single to the left. And pressure. Firkin will scramble. Close to the first down, still going, and I think he's going to get it. He gets up across the 30. He needed to get to about the 30, and he does. So he buys some time. Really the first time we've seen him run tonight.
Well, other than the first play of the game, Cameron Patovich almost had Firkin in the end behind the line of scrimmage for the sack, and then he was able to chase him down. Yeah, after Firkin's first drive, first run of the game, he's kind of been in negative territory since.
Same formation. This time he gives it to Ray, and Ray finds tough sledding in the middle there, and he's spun back for no gain. Southeast Polk in the white. Purple jerseys is Waukee. Well, they have the ball. They're trailing now, 21-17, 3:20 and counting here in the third period. Firkin now with 2 receivers to each side. Drops back, looks quickly to the right, swings it out there, caught, and up across the 35 to about the 37. Grodehouse on the catch.
Right there in front of Coach Carlson on that sideline, and what he told us last week was, you know, I know we're going to throw the football a lot. I'm a guy who likes to run it, but it does kind of give a little skip to the beat of my heart.
So 3rd and 4 for Waukee. Handoff up the middle. Slips a tackle, gets out across the 45 to the 50. Still going is Ray. And Ray, some nifty footwork there. It looked like he might have been stopped, but able to shift by the tacklers and go on up ahead and pick up the first down.
The Warriors look a lot like the Rams in the first half. They're spreading them out side to side. The big zone read, Ben Firkin, that's a great play.
He went right up in the middle. And Ray, once he got through that line of scrimmage, he was able to find, that's one of the first times he's been able to do that tonight.
Here comes Firkin. Has it up back, hands it to the deep back. This time Ray again. Ray scoots through the hole on the left side for a couple.
Braden Vasey has just been all over tonight at that defensive end position, number 11. Kind of fun to watch him.
They put Ross Shutt, the tight end, on the left side. Have a slot back there on the left. Rolling to his right, looking upfield, outside, now throws across, finds Rose! And fumble! On the tackle, looks like Southeast Polk might have it. Rose caught it about the 20, pulled down and fumbled it about the 17. So a turnover. Goes.
Michael Altus picked it up.
Number 9, Bradley Van Heeswick. He's my favorite player. I'm telling you, great tackling, great fundamentals, and here's another example of the Warriors getting something going and then having something like this happen.
Yep, they had an interception earlier that in the end zone, and now here he hits him on the 20, and then he fumbles it on the tackle, brings up a 1st and 10 at the 18 for Southeast Polk. They're back in action here, leading 21-17 with 2:06 to play in the ball game, in the third quarter, I should say, not the ball game. There's a pass out and just off the fingertips out there for Jennings. And Jennings hasn't dropped much tonight. He's been pretty reliable, but just couldn't pull that one in.
They haven't thrown at Jennings much here lately. And that was an opportunity for him right there in front of the sideline. And Tell you what, Dar, getting ready for Southeast Polk, you got all sorts of guys you got to be prepared for. This is, I'll tell you, keeping stats for either one of these teams is not an easy thing right now.
Austin Sutton came into the ball game there. This is flipped out to the back. He'll cut it upfield to 25. And little swing pass there to Hauser.
If you can get Hauser, they have much better luck with him if they can throw the football to him. He hasn't been able to run it as well, but he just get him that ball and hope good things will happen. That's what the offense will do. A spread offense does.
Get him out in the flat, get him a little room to get ahead of steam there, and make the big guys try to run him down.
Just make it a one-on-one.
They send Jackson Cole to the right. Another receiver wide to the left. Slot on the right and single back in the back there for McLaughlin. They'll hand it off to the deep back, and he gets stacked right up. Cole Hauser.
Josh Wanders right there in the middle, big number 99.
Big defensive play on 3rd and 2. Makes it a 4th down, and Waukee can get the ball back here.
That's Wandera.
Off the punt.
So for now, the Warriors have dodged a bullet. But remember, the last time Southeast Polk punted the football, it went 90 yards.
Primrose is back, and he's going to take a few more steps back like he heard you say that. And go back to about his 35. And
well, they had 10 on the field.
Did they? Little personnel problem.
Maybe it
there.
was only 10.
Those kind of things drive coaches nuts.
Well, Cameron Padovich, number 92 for the Rams, a little slow to get on the field for the Rams, causing a timeout here. And so Coach Linovich having a few choice words with his punt team here.
So they call a timeout. 33.6 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. Southeast Polk in punt formation, 4th and 2. And Waukee trying to get the ball back and get the lead back here. And tonight's ball game brought to you by Learning RX, brain training and cognitive skills testing, helping children think, remember, and read and learn better. That's 4949 Westtown Parkway, Suite 160 and 1205 North Ankeny Boulevard. Learning RX. Okay, we're set here to hopefully get the punt off. For Southeast Polk. High snap, takes it. Big booming kick. Taken about the 31. Up to the 35. Cuts it outside, trying to turn the corner. Up to the 40. Gets a block. 45 across the 50 into Southeast Polk territory. Primrose on the return. Mark Primrose. And there's a flag down on the far side of the field. We'll see. Block in the back, maybe. Yep, there's a illegal block, so that'll, or holding, I guess they're going to say. That'll move it back into Waukee territory. And they'll take it all the way back to just about, well, a yard deep of where he caught the ball. So wipes the whole return out. Waukee will take over with 18.3 to play here in the 3rd period.
So next week you'll have the Maroons and these same Warriors. And the Rams go to Valley Stadium to play the Tigers. And we'll also have a game from Ankeny Stadium.
That'll be on the audio, right?
That'll be on the audio with Tony Etsetti. And keep an eye out. He'll post those rankings sometime here in the next few hours.
Quick pass outside, cutting it up to the 40, 45, goes hard down with the shoulder. Cade Penn.
And you got to give Rose credit. He's the one who made the block at the 40 to give Penn an extra 8 yards.
And he also kind of played a dilemma out there for the defenders. They
That's
didn't know
right.
if they're going to go to Rose or go to Cade Penn, and he went to Penn. And a couple options that time for Firkin. Firkin now back there, looks over to the sideline with Daniel Ray. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Southeast Polk 21, Waukee 17. Let's go down on the sideline to Jim.
That was some great downfield blocking on that last completion from Firkin to Penn. Adam Rose, number 5. We used to call it stock blocking, and he did an excellent job. Put on a clinic on how to stock block for a receiver downfield.
All right, thank you, Jim Kirby on our Shields Sideline Report. Well, should be an interesting fourth quarter here. We'll see if Waukee can get this offense cranked back up and try to take the lead. Both these teams looking for their first win of the season after week 1 losses.
Well, one of them you'd like to say is going to win, but there's still no guarantee. You've always got that crazy tie.
Tie thing. Yeah, then you go to OT.
So Johnston comes back to defeat Ankeny tonight.
1st and 10 at the 49. Fake the handoff. Looking up the sideline and then sacked. He was looking to Cade Penn, who had a step on the receiver on the far right side but didn't have time to get rid of the ball. And he's dropped for a 7-yard loss.
In that Ankeny game, it was a 53-yard field goal by Johnston to win the game 20-17. Brady Jansen with 7 seconds left. So Ankeny jumped out early, and then Johnston got back in it.
Firkin hits Cade Penn. He
Nice
slips
move.
a tackle, 35, 30. Gives a little stutter step and takes it all the way down to the 25.
That was pretty, and that was Penn. He made a lot of that happen. Now he's going to come out because the helmet came off. And
Boy, Cade Penn is having a great night. There's a flag down. I think we might have some extracurricular activities after the play, but man, he's got to be on that state championship track team.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Waukee, which is going to move it back after a big pickup. About 33 yards.
it's going to be back at least half of it.
23 yards. It'll drop it back to the 40. 1st and 10 on the 40.
Plays like that,
Waukee.
penalties can really, there were a lot of penalties in that first half, and we've seen starting to see a few more here as we get into this fourth quarter, Dar.
So Firkin sends 2 to the left. 1 to the right is Grotehouse. He's got the tight end also on the right side shut. And gives it off to the back. He slides through there, slips through Ray. Good pickup there on 1st down. 7 yards. 11 minutes to play in the game. Waukee trailing 21-17. Get a drive going here. Got a drive going here. Firkin looks to the sideline for the call.
It's almost like when they go back to that, they're just not as sharp when they call that play right away.
Drops back, throws it out in the flat, and it's dropped.
Turned around and ran before he had the football.
Yeah,
Winger just, he's got to catch it before he can run. So.
Yeah, he knew he was out there alone, but as you say, you got to bring that in. So it brings up 3rd and 4 at the 34. For Waukee.
So now 3rd and 4. You got to be a long field goal, no wind to really speak of, maybe at your back, but you need 7.
Hand off to Ray. He cuts it up in the middle. He's got the 1st down. Still going. Rumbles down to about the 16-yard line. So
pickup of 18. You needed only 4.
Big, hard running up the middle there. And they'll come back out quickly again. Firkin. Nope. Little movement there. Yeah.
Looked like a trap play on that last one. It was more of a to the right, and they went left.
Boy, Jared Martin, number 58 for the Warriors, a great block on number 13. That was Cody Wunderlich for the Rams that sprung Ray on that last play. A beautiful blocking on that offensive line for the Warriors.
All right, Jim, thanks. Winger comes to this side with Grotehouse. And they throw it across the slant to Rose. and he's down around the 6-yard line.
Firkin looked left, far left. He looked like he was going to Ray out of the backfield, and then he got a Rose who was slanting in. Good set of routes over there.
Yeah, Ray was kind of looping out there, and as you say, then he found the slant to Rose. Now he looks to Rose
Same
again.
play.
Touchdown. Is he hold it? Yep, touchdown.
Exact same play, Dar, just on a shorter field.
Firkin to Rose for the third time tonight for a touchdown. In the fourth quarter, 9:46 to play, and Waukee goes back on top.
I'm watching that last series of plays, those last few touchdowns from behind Ben Firkin. I honestly don't know how he got those two balls between the linemen with their hands up and then timing that route. Two great passes by Ben Firkin.
Jim Kirby with our Shield sideline report. Extra point here, Skylar Crew. Kicks it through the middle. And it's a 24-21 lead now for the home team. Waukee back up on Southeast Polk on the third Firkin DeRose connection tonight for a touchdown pass. We got a 4-yarder, a 3-yarder, and an 8-yarder. And they had one picked off down
That's
here.
right.
There could have been another one.
Had another one. Rose is a guy who didn't even hear from in that first quarter. That Southeast Polk had a game plan to keep him in check. But you have to give credit to Cade Penn because with his ability to make some plays, that has allowed a second weapon. You know, to have a great one,
and then
it's
Ben
even
Ray
better
too.
when it's two.
And then you got Ben Ray, who, on the run, who can kind of keep him honest a little bit,
Once you get it to him out of the backfield. And I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of the same thing with Hauser for Southeast Polk. Ray has to establish himself. He's not Trevor Allen, and he knows that. He needs to run north-south, and that's what Coach Carlson says that he's going to do.
So a 3-point lead. That's what Waukee started with when they hit the field goal after their first drive. And now here in the fourth quarter, 9:46 to play. And they're back to a 3-point lead again. Skylar Crew will kick it deep. And here it comes. It's heading toward the sideline, and it's going to be out of bounds for a penalty. So they'll bring it back, and Southeast Polk will get their chance to try to go back up on top here.
Well, and Polk can do it. I mean, you think of the way McLaughlin ran this offense early on, finding a different receiver at almost every play. The tempo has slowed down. Waukee has changed the tempo of this game into their favor. Now, if you're Polk, you got to figure out a way to get that first down. Give your defense a break now. They have been on the field a lot here in the second half. It is a warm night. Haven't seen the guys go out on cramps yet. There's still a lot of time.
Dries wide to the right. They got Sutton here to the left. And dropping back, looking, flips it out to the back, out of the backfield. He cuts it up across the 50, 45. Rumbling down to the 40 is Cole Hauser. And turnabout fair play on that swing pass to the back.
Some great running by Cole Hauser, number 12 for the Rams, but also a great block. Jackson Cole to spring him. And, those big playmakers, they make big plays.
What were you going to say, Paul?
25 on the pickup. And that was, again, we talked about him, just get him the ball out in the open, and he can make things happen. He makes guys miss one-on-one.
Here's a pass across, and not quite there, a little long. Looking for Dries out there. Good idea, not...
it was there.
It was there, just a little overthrown by McLaughlin. Had the play, slanting in. 2nd and 10 at the 40. Oh, holding call. I didn't see that flag. Well, they're going to take it. Yeah, I said mark it off. They was going to mark it off on the line of scrimmage. He said mark it off on the flag, which makes it an extra 3 yards onto that.
Point of infraction, correct?
So that brings it back to the 48, where it would have been back at or 47, would have been back just at the 50. So they send Dries, Jennings, and Jackson Cole wide to the right. They got Austin Sutton here on the left side. Fakes it out there. Now throws it to the back. Screen out of the back. And gets a little bit of that back.
So I think Hauser's one of those guys that just has to kind of get the motor going.
Yeah.
He's a little slow out of the blocks, but you get him 3 yards, he can go.
And gets a little bit of that.
Another penalty.
No, another penalty back.
Holding again.
Holding again. Or illegal block, I guess. So that'll take it back to the 41. So the original line of scrimmage was the 40. Now it's back to almost their own 40. And 1st and 29 at the 41. So coach is not going to be real happy the way this is, Zelinovich, Coach Zelinovich, and how this is playing out with the penalties. Low snap, rolling and throwing, almost picked off. Nice play on that ball by Brett Hauk.
And underneath, Wanderera, number 99, was given a lot of pressure on that play.
I don't know about that last play call, McLaughlin. That was a recipe for disaster. 2 different Warriors could have intercepted that ball.
Hauk got the hands on it.
Just throw it away.
Yeah.
You're outside of the tackles, no penalty there.
Dropping back and just slammed down. So this drive just keeps going backwards for Southeast Polk.
Jacob Wiggins came through on the straight-up bum rush, the bull rush, the bear rush, whatever you want to say.
So 2nd down and 36 now. So what do you call on a 2nd and 36?
A play that gets you half of it back.
3rd and 36. They lost. Yeah, that was lost it down there. So you gotta get almost 40 yards to get a 1st down. And they're going to hand it off to Hauser. He cuts over the right side, has some room, almost got outside. Looks like kind of a horse collar tackle there. No flags.
It's more the jersey that exposed the shoulder pads. The near side here really wants it called that way.
And that brings up a 4th down and 36.
Well, for the first time, the Warriors are showing a lot of life here on defense. Just that last series, Wanderer and Wiggins are making big plays. They're putting pressure on McLaughlin. The big sack by Wiggins. It's the tale of 2 different halves for the Waukee defense.
Southeast Polk didn't have a punter out there, Dar.
I know. Now they got to call a timeout. So things just have kind of imploded here a little bit in the 4th quarter with 3 or 4 penalties, and then they get out there and no punter, and they got to call a timeout. 7:18 to play. Waukee leading 24-21 and about to get the ball back on a punt. Tonight's game brought to you by Godfather's Pizza. We make pizza the way it's meant to be. Incredible crust, delicious veggies, hearty meats, and 100% cheese. Godfather's Pizza.
Nice crowd still on hand, but emptying out just a little bit. They have elementary students on that southwest end zone, and those kids are kind of watching the game, and that's a fun atmosphere. The band is left from the north side of the field, but still plenty of people here on this opener.
Got to give a thumbs up to Jason Smith, our cameraman tonight. Steve Dickinson running the controls for us here on CISN.TV.
That's a troubleshooter, troublemaker.
Troublemaker.
What is it? What is it, Steve? Troublemaker?
Troublemaker.
Yeah, trouble solver. Good job, Steve.
Here's the kick, a little pressure, low kick, returnable, taken and fumbled, back to the 10. Looks like he's going to pull out of there, come back up the other way, and then there's a flag comes in, so a little trouble all around.
Mark Primrose, I don't know what he was doing. That.
And
good thing we don't have the coach's mic down to the right of us to provide some of the insight. But
Southeast Polk coaches down there.
Referees are huddling, and I'm not 100% sure what they're going to call. What's Jim Kirby say?
He's got his back to us. We'll see if he's looking.
Is he not talking?
I think he's reading lips over there to see what they're saying. As soon as he turns around, we'll see.
I'm not quite sure what the call is now. They're moving the Warriors up.
So, okay.
We're going to do it again?
Wow, okay.
Okay, so we're going back to the
original line of scrimmage.
There's no way. Okay, it was 4th and 30, what, 1?
30, what was it?
Let's see, so now it's 10, 15, 26. It was 4th and 26, and we're going back to the original line of scrimmage of the 44.
Yeah. So.
Going to punt it again.
Looks like it.
Jim knows what's going on. Let's go with Jim.
It was an inadvertent whistle. The officials came over the sidelines and was telling the head coach here, so they're going to replay this down.
Okay, inadvertent whistle, so you replay the down.
But a penalty flag still came down.
Yeah, there was a penalty in there. Right?
So there must have been a whistle on that far side.
He must have thrown the flag and blew the whistle, and I don't know. So anyway, it's still 4th down and 26. 7:05 to play. Southeast Polk with the ball at the 44. They're going to punt it away to Waukee, which has a 3-point lead here.
Another penalty.
And now, and you can probably hear the Southeast Polk fans here on this side down in front of us.
Do they not huddle? All right, Jim Kirby knows a little bit.
I think Parker Drees, number 10 for the Rams, had a few words to say to the officials going out there. And I'll tell you what, things are getting a little weird down here.
Things have kind of blown up here on Southeast Polk in the last few minutes with all the penalties and now
unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike. Okay.
That's why you play the game. 7:05 to go.
Started late, and now we're after 10 o'clock and still going here, but glad you're with us. And this last 7:05 could take a little while. So.
I got to stop planning things on Saturday mornings.
Okay. Primrose now at his 30. Drees will punt it. I think Jim thought he was the one that said something. Low line drive kick, bounces.
Oh, it hit him, it hit him.
But did he get on it? We'll see. It might be Southeast Polk. And who's coming out of the pile with the ball?
It's Southeast Polk, because otherwise Waukee would be jumping up and down if it was theirs on that far sideline.
Nobody has any idea. There's been no signal. And
can the referees call timeout?
They're going to give it to Waukee. He must have got back on it, but
I don't know. What, Jim, did you see?
Mark Primrose didn't know quite what to do with that ball. They were telling him, Peter, which means get away from it when you're on you're on offense receiving the punt. And he tried to jump over the ball, and he hit it with his foot, and it's a good thing they got it back.
Yeah, he had to do a little acrobatics to get back on that ball over there. So here's Firkin after all that. He keeps it, looks over the left side, gets some room outside, cuts it up across the 50, and is pushed out of bounds in Southeast Polk territory.
And that was Brady Van Heeswick that knocked him out right there in front of the bench. Good. That's that same play call that they did the first play of the game. Firkin's legs can be a difference maker, Dar.
Winger and Cade Penn to this side. Rose to the far side. Firkin, and that's Daniel Ray on offense in the backfield. Purple jerseys for Waukee. They lead by 3. Hand off to Ray over the left side. Finds a little room. Picks up maybe 4. And clock rolling here. 6:37 to play. Waukee trying to lead the clock and tack a little bit extra onto that lead.
Yep, clock moving. That's something that you say very often with these two teams. Liking to throw the football.
Rose far side. Again, it's Winger and Penn to this side. Dropping back, swings it out to Winger. And he gets tripped up. Nice defensive play to trip him up, and he can't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Gunnar Jorgensen was stunting on that.
Good read by Gunnar.
That was a great open field tackle by number 21, Gunnar Jorgensen, to stop that play. Otherwise, that was going to go for a long way.
3rd and 8. They got Winger and Rose to the left side. Cade Penn on this side, dropping back, looking, throws it out there, caught! And Rose will get the first down at the 35. So
there was pressure coming, and they found the open spot, and you forgot about Adam Rose, and he burned you.
He's the security guy, the checkoff valve guy for Firkin when he's looking for somebody. And that brings up a 1st and 10 at the 35. Clock running now, 5:34 to play. Waukee leading by 3. They'll bring Shutt out of there, the tight end, and bring in another wide receiver. That's Grotehouse. He'll come over here with Cade Penn, and you got Winger and Rose to the left side. Ray, the single back. Hand off to Ray up the middle, grinding through for a few yards.
I don't know if clock is your, because if you're Waukee and you get 7, that makes it the 2-possession game. A field goal only makes it still a touchdown. So if you're Waukee, Dar, I think you got to try to keep milking some of this.
Yeah.
Plus, keep that Southeast Polk defense on the field.
They trade Grotehouse for Shutt there. Hand off to Ray. Left side, got some room, cuts it back outside. Now up the field and is pushed out on the far side. Looks like he's inside the 20. Into the red zone over there.
Boy, Daniel Ray, what acceleration he has through the hole. I mean, I just can't, the speed in which he hits the hole, and then another gear, and that acceleration is just really hard to stop right now for the Rams.
Here comes Waukee. They'll send Winger and Rose to the left side. They got Caden Penn wide here to the right. Hand off to Ray. He gets stacked up that time and dropped back, maybe lose a yard. Yep, loses, looks like 1. Or, yep, 2nd 11 at the 22-yard line.
So right now, if you don't get another yard, it's a 40-yard field goal. But I don't think you're thinking the 3.
No.
You want 6 if you're Waukee right here.
Which Skylar Crew hit a 40-yarder to open the scoring in this game. Trips to the right. Firkin looks to the slant. Cut the man there. Rose.
It's that same play that they ran for a touchdown. It's that look to the left. They look Gray off, and then that opens up Rose. That motion, that's good athleticism there by Firkin.
The Warrior student section's really having a lot of fun over there with Bradley Van Heeswick. They keep chanting his number, and I'm wondering if he had something to do with that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty earlier during this series, but they're really letting him have it from the Waukee student section.
Thank you, Jim, with our Shield sideline report. I think it's our first measurement of the night, isn't it?
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're going to measure here.
Because I would not have been surprised if Waukee or if Southeast Polk would have called a timeout.
And they're going to
But
first
the thing
down.
is, if you're Southeast Polk, you're down to 1 timeout. You cannot call a timeout
because they
right
had to burn
now.
that one when they didn't have the punter out
right.
there, and so you can't afford to waste another one. 3:49 to play. Waukee 24-21. The 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. Where's that ball? Is it?
It's on the. I think it's on the north side.
Can they get a first down?
I think they can. I think
might.
it's on the. When I say north,
Barely.
I do mean south, but on the north side of getting the, they can get a first. So really, you got 8 chances to score here.
Maybe, yeah.
They're holding that. They're holding both sticks up.
Well, let's see. They've had the last 3 touchdown passes been Firkin to Rose. We'll see what they do here. If they look for him again. Firkin under center. Hands off to Ray. He's stacked up immediately. Loses a yard.
Well, and that's that Braden Vasey again. He came in underneath from that defensive end, defensive tackle spot. He's slanting in. He has made a mess of things in the Waukee backfield when the opportunity is there.
Got Winger and Rose wide to the left. Now they're going to bring Grodhouse in for Ross Shutt, the tight end, and get another receiver in there and put him trips to the left.
Clock moving, though, Dar.
Yep, Caden Penn to the right, under 3 minutes to play. And
Fumble!
fumble! Southeast Polk, I think, is on it. A mishandle on the handoff there, and the turnover goes to Southeast Polk.
Who do you think came up with it, Dar? It was Braden Vasey.
I think that was number 13, Cody Wunderlich for Southeast Polk, who knifed in there and knocked the ball loose. You know, I'm looking at the scoreboard, and the Rams got the whole length of the field to go here for this this drive. And don't forget that timeout that they burned because of that punt when they didn't have enough men on the field. That might loom large for the Southeast Polk Rams.
Yep, just as we were talking about, Jim Kirby on the sideline, the Shield sideline report. So turnovers again for the Waukee drive, and it's back to Southeast Polk, trailing by 3. 2:48 to go. They're at the 16-yard line. 1st and 10.
86
McLaughlin
yards to go.
rolls out. Throws it outside there to Jennings. Kalen Jennings gets up the first down and gets out of bounds. And that'll stop the clock. Would have stopped on the first down anyway, but it'll stay stopped now as he got out of bounds. Up to the 27-yard line.
If you're Waukee, you don't want to play a prevent. The only thing sometimes a prevent defense does is it prevents you from winning.
Yeah.
Put pressure on. Keep disrupting McLaughlin's timing.
Drops back. Tries to win
Batted
it out.
down.
Yep, knocked away.
Wiggins and a penalty. And they're going to
Yeah.
probably say that was Lindemann.
What did he do?
Or Lineman, I think, got him in the face. Yeah, Drew Lineman was the second guy through.
And that's going to go against, so that would have been 2nd and 10, but now the penalty will tack on 15. So a big penalty there will move the ball up to the 42-yard line for Southeast Polk. Parker Drees, Kalen Jennings wide to the right. 2 receivers here to the left, including Jackson Cole.
Now remember,
Sutton.
Southeast Polk 1 timeout.
Cole Hauser in the backfield. Straight back, McLaughlin.
He's
looking
there.
for Sutton. Got him at the sideline. He can't hang on to it.
Too deep, too
Yep.
steep. They had 2 receivers. They ran a double route to that near side, and they just split them off.
Boy, Austin Sutton, give him a few more yards, a little bit wider of a field, and you would have had a chance of making a great catch.
He needed a Canadian football field.
2nd and 10, and they're going to the outside route to get it out of bounds.
Which you don't have to necessarily
Not
do
really
at
with
2 and a
2:25.
quarter.
Yeah, you got plenty of time here. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Throws it out there to Kalen Jennings, and he's across the 50 for a first down. That'll stop the clock.
We're going to have a flag here, too. This time it's Jennings and Jake Krull. I'm sorry, not Krull, Nick Anderson.
Tonight's ball game brought to you by Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling. Our goal is to deliver the best customer service. With over 20 years and 4 generations of professional service, Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling.
Waukee has to figure out a way to get some pressure up front.
Twins to each side.
Here they come, screen.
Screen over the middle, knocked around and off the hands there of Drees.
Grodhouse and Yakovich stayed home on that. Here came that pressure.
Boy, they had that screen set up so well to Parker James on that other side. Just got tipped, just overthrew it just a bit.
2nd and 10. It does stop the clock. 1:59 to play. Southeast Polk trailing 24-21 to Waukee. They're in Waukee territory at the 44. Here comes McLaughlin. Twins to each side. Drops back. Throws it out there for Jackson. Way high over his head. Jackson Cole, intended receiver.
That was quick. I was kind of wondering how they got a receiver so deep with such a deep pass. They didn't have him.
Big 3rd down here
Well, you've got two
Yeah,
plays
you
to
got
go
2 plays
10.
to go 10. Yeah. If they don't make it, they're surely probably going, well, they have to on fourth.
Student section on their feet, making noise on that far sideline.
Put a slot back in.
Look out for Cole.
Rolling, swings it out there to the slot, and he's hammered. Intended for Ginther. And
McDonald was in there. He's getting the 5s.
Boy, I tell you what, all of that poise that Thomas McLaughlin had in the first half, boy, he wish he could just summon some of that right now. A couple critical overthrows here, and now it's all going to come down to this.
4th and 10 at the 48-yard line, 1:51 to play. Waukee up 24-21. Southeast Polk in the white here, the gold pants with the ball, and they're going to call their final timeout of the game to talk it over. Well, you got to get a first down here.
Doesn't matter if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't get a first down, you can't. Timeout does you no good. But they will come to the sideline and try to call something here. Jim looking it over. We'll see what he thinks about it.
I'm down here by the field goal kickers, Luke Williams, number 37 for the Rams, and all of a sudden the mood has changed a little bit down here with the field goal kickers. Couple first downs, and we're going to see an attempt by number 37, and that is Luke Williams.
Yep, they got to get the first down and a little more yardage first here. 1:51 to play. 4th and 10 at the 48 for Southeast Polk, the Rams, against the Warriors. Both these teams looking for the first win of 2015. And
Waukee thinks they're a minute 51 from it. Now, Brad Zelenovich is your play caller for Southeast Polk. He is surrounded by two guys in red hats, dressed the same. And it's a matter of, you're going to send Jennings. He's kind of been your big play guy. Cole is not in the game. Dries is. So is Hauser. This your ball game right here, Dar.
twin receivers to each side. McLaughlin drops back, throws it out, picked off by Waukee, 22.
Cedric Dobbins.
Cedric Dobbins picks it off.
Oh, his family watching online. They're pretty excited.
1:45 to play. Cedric Dobbins picks it off and puts the ball at the 44 of Waukee.
Well, the fans on the Southeast Polk side are making their way out. I know we still have a minute and 45 to go, but what a great interception at the right time for Cedric Dobbins. I don't know about you guys, but the ball seemed to come out of McLaughlin's hand a little funny. There was just something funny about the ball, but what a great play by senior Cedric Dobbins for the Warriors.
Well, Southeast Polk, unless they get a miracle here, they're going to lose their first two games by 4 points. Yeah, and a tough way to start the season. And Waukee will, if they can run the clock out here, get a 3-point win in this one. There's a handoff to Ray. And he rumbles up to just short of the 50. Clock rolling. Coming up on a minute and a half to play.
Well, they went in the middle on that play with Southeast Polk. And I think that's where they may have been wanting to go earlier and then realizing we didn't have to go to the outside. But they weren't looking to Jennings.
They're just taking their time here. Play clock down to 9. Firkin.
Still in the shotgun, though.
Yep. Hands it off.
No
Ray.
timeouts for Southeast Polk to stop it.
As we go under a minute. And when they start the play clock here, there's going to be probably less than 30 seconds to go once they get the play going.
Warriors are going to have to make a fourth down play. The Warriors do have 3 timeouts. Doing the math here.
10 seconds on the play clock, 35 game. Yep. So it's going to be real tight, isn't it?
They call the timeout with 1 second on the play clock, make it 27.
27.1, so got to run one play here. And let's go back down again to Jim.
I don't know how many of our listeners have been out here to the new, well, it's not new anymore, the Waukee Stadium. It's kind of like a college experience. I mean, they have got a great sound system, a great video board. It's almost like the University of Waukee sometimes down here. What a beautiful facility. And the athletic director, Jim Dewey, is really proud of his, all of his athletic teams, and especially this facility.
He slipped it in there, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, 27.1 seconds to play here, and Waukee can get a home victory, and Southeast Polk's going to go to 0-2 by virtue of 4 points to start the season here. And looks like they're going to bring Firkin out, put this deep back safety and go into the victory formation. Snap it, take a knee.
And that will be it.
And that will do the ball game. So Firkin DeRose, a big connection here tonight. That 3 times, and the last one put Waukee ahead to stay 24-21. And a real good ball game here tonight at Waukee. And Jim will try to get the coach here at our post-game. Post-game interview will be brought to you by Godfather's Pizza. Get a medium taco pizza or medium one-topping pizza and a cinnamon dessert pizza for just $24.99. And a final 24-21. Waukee scored first. Then it was back and forth, and Waukee scores last and hangs on. And really kind of a sloppy fourth quarter there, Paul, for Southeast Polk with the penalties and such.
I tell you, I think Polk peaked with about 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Waukee kind of got it back together, felt a little confidence. It was just they were an absolute different team on that pop-out, on that timeout, on that last drive, that 2-minute offense. All of a sudden, they were ready to go. It was crazy.
Jim is...
He's hunting, so I'm wondering who he's going to go after. You go after Firkin tonight? You go after Kay Penn? You go after Scott Carlson first.
Yep.
Coach Carlson, you talked about shooting yourself in the foot in the first half. It's sure nice to get this victory, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and unfortunately that part of it didn't stop because there were a couple of situations there where we really challenged ourselves and made it a lot tougher than it needed to be. But obviously you credit Southeast Polk. What a tremendous gutty performance by them. They hung in there every step of the way, and we were just quite fortunate to come away with the victory tonight.
What was key in the second half to turn your offense around like it happened?
I just think, they were giving us a 3-man front. And that gave us an opportunity to run the ball a little bit more, establish the run. And we really hadn't been able to do that at all in the first half. And we'd begun to be able to throw the ball a little bit better. So thankfully, we were able to, take the possessions on the ground, run a little bit of clock, and I think that turned our fortunes in the second half.
Doesn't hurt to have a back like Daniel Ray, right?
No, Daniel did a phenomenal job. And, he's not a big speed guy, but he has great vision. He just finds the green grass, and he's moving forward at the end of the play, and that's the key to being a great back.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. That's our post-game interview brought to you again by Godfather's Pizza. Dar Danielson along with Paul Yeager.
And Jim is going to try to track down one more interview here.
Okay.
He's running. He's trying to get a player game. I think he's going for Ben Firkin.
While he's doing that, let me run down the scoring here. Waukee with 5:56 to play in the first quarter got a 40-yard field goal by Skylar Crew. Made it 3-0. Southeast Polk came back with the 3:08 to play. It was McLaughlin to Dries from 10 yards out. That made it 7-3 Southeast Polk. Southeast Polk scored again with 2:46 to play. McLaughlin to Cole, 58 yards for a 14-3 lead. Then it was the first of the Firkin DeRose connections tonight in the second quarter. 16.4 seconds to play right before the end of the first half. Firkin to Rose for 4 yards. It made it 14-10. Then with 6:30 to play in the third, Firkin DeRose again 14 yards out, 17-14. Waukee went up. But then Cole Hauser took the pass, and Cole Hauser had the pass to who did he pass that to?
Cole Hauser for the touchdown?
For the touchdown. To
well, it was Firkin DeRose. Are you in the fourth quarter? Last one?
No, Southeast Polk score.
It was a run. It was Hauser's
Hauser.
run.
Okay,
it was
I'm sorry.
a 3-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, 3-yard touchdown run
Yeah.
by Hauser. I was thinking it was a pass, but it was that halfback pass that kind of set it up. 3 yards. Yeah, hey, there you go. It helps if you turn the lights on. I can read. That made it 21-17. Then Waukee with 9:46 to play in the game. Firkin to Rose from 8 yards out. The PAT was good. It was 24-21. So
Adam Rose, I tell you, they ran. There was that one play. Look to the left, throw left onto that second receiver. Look him off, and the great play call to go back to it. You know, you like to run something that you think is going to work, and you're like, prove it till stop. We're going to run it till you stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what worked for Waukee tonight.
Well, Southeast Polk, they come out of here with another loss, 4-point loss. You know, there's things to work on. Obviously, late penalties that they had that hurt them in there, and then the mix-up where they had to call a timeout when they didn't have the punter out there. So still some more things to work on heading into Game 3.
Yeah, and, you know, that pushed you back 15 and then another 10, and then you have the timeout, and then you just the frustration and emotion. Now, that would have pinned Waukee back. Maybe your defense, you maybe could have dialed up something a little different, maybe a little more gamble if you think you've got Waukee pinned within inside the 20, knowing that you've got to make something happen to get that game back in your possession. But it just didn't work, and that field position made a whole bunch of difference. And you got to give Waukee, they ran the ball when they needed to milk that clock. If Ray can't get those first downs or get 8-9 yards a crack, Southeast Polk probably wins this football game.
So the final is 24-21 Waukee. The postgame brought to you tonight by DeSanti Water, refreshment redefined, DeSanti Water. So, well, good ball game here tonight. Got a bunch more coming up next week. I'll be back here, and you're over.
I'll have Southeast Polk again. They'll be with Valley.
Valley, okay.
So that'll be a look at that. So thank you so very much for watching us tonight here on CISN.TV. Replays will be on the website during the week. You can look for Tony Etsetti's top 10 from all classes. He'll update that. That'll be on the website of CISN.TV. So we don't just have live streaming. We've also got some stories as well.
All right.
And he'll have that.
Thanks to Jason Smith on the camera, Steve Dickinson at the controls, and Jim Kirby with our sideline reports tonight. That's going to wrap it up here from Waukee tonight. 24-21, Waukee comes out on top.
Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents
Cole's going to get the call up the middle. He sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink, Central Iowa Football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields. Are you ready for some football?